Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome to the TNT podcast episode number. Insert here, please.
6? I don't know. We're losing count now.
Yeah, we're losing count
no, it's
before
5.
we even 5.
It's
yeah,
5. It's 5.
Episode 5, the 6th one.
Yeah, back to this old meme again.
Gotta pull out the meme that literally no one
nonsense.
uses. But yeah, my name is Timpedia, and this is the podcast. And we got a lot of stuff to cover this week, sort of. Because E3 happened, and we're in the middle of the Magic the Gathering 25th anniversary. But we'll go over that after the other two gentlemen with me introduce themselves.
Oh man, I get a chance to say my name. I'm Andrew, but these guys call me Friedman, but I am the weeb guy.
The weave guy, and I am just, wait for it, Tyler.
Oh,
Ooh, just
Yeah.
Tyler.
shot across the bow.
Ooh. Spicy ass name.
Shots fired. I need healing.
I need healing.
Just for those
I need
Overwatch
healing.
memers out there who are not me, because I don't play Overwatch.
There were so many Genji cosplayers this weekend, and all of them just kept saying, I need healing over and over.
I need
and over.
healing. Mata mata. Mata mata. I need healing.
I need-
Fucking Jesus.
This week we got a bunch going on, and we had to do some extra breakdowns. So we had E3 this past weekend. In addition to E3, I was also out of town because I was buying an apartment in Ohio for the move I'm going to be making this coming weekend.
Ooh,
And
adults.
we are
stuff.
currently in the middle of the Magic the Gathering 25th anniversary announcement week. So,
so much stuff.
yeah, so we're going to have a special breakdown this week. We're not covering any of the Magic the Gathering 25th anniversary stuff. There are other things that happen this week in Magic because there's so much stuff going on
Jeez, way too much.
that were not tied to the anniversary announcements that we will cover today. We're also going to talk about E3 impressions because I wasn't here, but I have a little bit of stuff I want to chime in on, and these two have were here to follow most of it. Actually, no, Tyler, you're the only one who really had the time to follow it the whole time.
Yeah, because I, wasn't doing anything.
Well, because Freeman was at his convention, and I was
Yeah, and
ditching off in
doing
Ohio.
doing nothing because audience, I'm boring as hell, dude.
Oh my God!
Remember that.
Stop!
Remember that?
Oh my God!
See, this is why me and Leslie hang out so much.
Oh my God! Anyway,
We have the same.
I'm gonna just plow over you and just and then we're gonna
Please.
end our news with Weeb stuff from Freeman because apparently there's a bunch this week because he was
There's a
at
bunch.
the anime convention, so he wants to talk about anime.
None of my news has to do with that, but
No,
there's
I
a lot
know.
of good news stuff.
But then after that, we're gonna get to our topic. So let's just jump into the Magic news we will talk about. Oh, and then so all the 25th anniversary of Magic stuff that is happening this week. We're still in the middle of the week, like I said. This is being recorded Wednesday night of June the 14th, and there's still Thursday and Friday for more announcements. So, and I found out today I'm probably not gonna have internet next week from my new apartment. So Freeman and I will be recording a special edition podcast covering the Magic the Gathering 25th anniversary announcements in their entirety this coming weekend before I move, and I will be uploading that to then release next week for the podcast, and then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled content the week after that. So
Once everyone's internet connected.
yeah,
You
once
hear
I am
that,
back on the
folks?
I'm going to have internet on my phone, but we record this on my computer and I edit it and everything, so kind of can't do that
Need-
from a hotspot. So
Need a whole episode dedicated to Magic.
I do have a wireless card in my computer. I wonder if I could, or no, I don't. I got rid of it. I don't remember.
I'll say hijack the internet like a pirate, someone else's internet.
I'm sure
That's when
someone
you go to Panera for like an hour and a half laughing on
Yeah,
Magic
just
stuff in
record
your
at
microphone.
Panera.
just shouting, just bring my whole arm with my mic on it and everything, and just strap it to
man.
the table. Be like, guys, I'll be
It's
out of here
fine.
in 3 hours.
Listen, there's that picture like online, like old picture of like this dude has his whole PS3 set up at a McDonald's. You can do
my
it.
God.
man.
That's the dream. That's the American dream right there.
Anyway, let's get into the Magic news.
So into the news.
So we have two pieces of Magic the Gathering news. Freeman, I'm going to need you to send links to me for the second one because I lost.
Okay, I'll start digging up
Actually, you know
while
what?
we're talking
I'll
first.
get it. It'll be on Mythic Spoiler. But for the first bit of news, we have a standard banning. Which
I thought it was really special that our podcast started during one of the standard bans because this never happens.
yeah.
But I feel like we've already spoken. This is the third ban we've had the chance to talk about on this podcast.
Wow, it really does happen that frequently these days, doesn't it?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Well, no, because the other one was No, this is only the second one because Felidar got banned last time.
Were we? Oh no,
I don't know, we talked
started,
about bans quite a bit.
We started way after the last ban. You're right.
Yeah, because we started just after the one where Legacy and Vintage had the banning of Top and Probe and Gush, and then later that week we talked about it. The next week, Felidar got emergency banned, and that's the only banning we've talked about. So this is the second banned and restricted announcement we've had the chance to talk about. And unlike last time, which covered Legacy and Vintage, this time we have a standard banning, which is crazy because it seemed like Wizards was not planning on banning anything this time. Because actually, Saffron Olive from MTG Goldfish pointed out that they seemed to be implying that they were fine with all of Standard. It turns out that's not true. They banned Aetherworks Marvel in Standard.
So this was really weird reading through the article the first time because they even stated outright that there was a lot of strange data. This deck was not like the clear and far ahead best deck in Standard. They said that although at the GP level people were bringing it to like I think 43% of everyone who made day 2 was Aetherworks, and it was half of the top 32. But at like on MTGO and at the FNM level, it was not winning that much. So there was a huge split between how it was being played at the professional level versus like the your average player level, which is kind of odd because everyone keeps joking that this deck is a dice roll because of the randomness. But there was a huge split. But the big reason they said they didn't want it in the format was it wasn't healthy and it wasn't fun, and those were their two big reasons they stated for banning this card.
Yeah, turn 4 Ulamog is not something that you want to experience. And apparently,
really
reading the article, they said that there's a 9% chance, basically.
Oh, it's a 1 in 10 chance of it happening.
And that's That's basically a turn 4 death.
Yeah,
and you just can't
stop. You don't come back
it.
from that in Standard.
Like even if you counter the Ulamog or counter the Marvel, they still get energy, and they still have all the energy to just cast another one. It's just not fun. So they banned it out. As someone who loves Kaladesh, this is very sad. Especially because of the fact that this deck was not winning when it came out originally. This deck was on the up and up, but then Aether Revolt came out and Felidar pushed it out of the way, and now it's kind of come back, and now they're banning it out again, so it feels like Kaladesh is really defining Standard still right now. Like Amonkhet really still... This is Amonkhet's chance to pick up the pieces between this ban and Hour of Devastation coming out in like 3 weeks. This is when Amonkhet is really going to make its mark on Standard, or if it's just going to be a Kaladesh Standard, because still, we have to see how this shakes out. But even without Aetherworks Marvel, Kaladesh has so many powerful cards, like vehicles, like Heart of Kirin. Gideon is never going to get banned. We've established this now.
No, you can deal with him. Just you need to be able to deal damage to something. That's how Wizards feels about him. He's not anything absurd. Like if they really wanted to, you print Hero's Downfall. That's your number one answer if a Planeswalker gets too good in Standard. But he's not that bad, and they clearly aren't super concerned.
I mean, they're probably concerned, but they're like, he's just rotating. We just
like he's rotating.
Just hold on to Ixalan. Just make it to Ixalan. He's gonna.
It's fine. We're killing Gideon. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we're killing Gideon in an hour. It's fine. It's fine.
The one thing I thought was interesting, is someone brought this up, was that almost every time they add a new card type to Magic, it's usually either way too underpowered or way too overpowered.
Yeah.
And we saw that, I wouldn't say energy was overpowered, it was mostly that Aetherworks was a little bit pushed in terms of what it could do.
Yeah,
but,
I definitely agree with that.
Like, you could look back, like when Planeswalkers first came out, the first batch, Lorwyn 5, weren't that great, and their first real experiment with high-level Planeswalkers were Jace the Mind Sculptor, which was
one
of their big mistakes.
Pretty much the greatest Planeswalker ever printed.
And then you go back to when like equipment was first printed. You had Skull Clamp. So
yeah, my god,
a lot of time, just because the card type's new, they don't know how it'll do. Kind of like vehicles with Looter Scooter, Smuggler's Copter, and the same thing with energy. They're kind of experimenting. Like there are ways you can go that isn't broken, but they clearly, may have crossed a line here or there. But at least they're learning. Both these mechanics were very new and very interesting. I'm happy to see
Kaladesh
Wizard experimenting.
Part of what I love about Kaladesh was it did as much as I loved like the not steampunk but the aetherpunk that they built, like this very bright and kind of exciting inventor place. As an engineer, that just speaks to me on such a deep level. But but then also to have such cool new mechanics like energy and vehicles. Like they're both such cool mechanics.
They are really cool. They work out well.
Like
they
I'm
make
building
sense
up
in
my
terms of
power
Magic.
reservoir of energy and I can use it to power my lands like Aether Hub and stuff like that. And
Or the idea of, like, they made it seem like a creature was really getting in a vehicle with the crew
crewing,
mechanic.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I'm really glad that Kaladesh is kind of such a high power level, and I hope that it doesn't discourage them from using these mechanics more later. I recognize that energy is pretty parasitic and probably doesn't have a great shot, but I think Morrow has said that vehicles will return in some factor because it is a pretty cool mechanic, and they can use it. There's a lot of like equipments and stuff that they could easily retool to be vehicles instead. Like they have a lot of chariots and things like that in Magic. It's like, I'll just make the frickin' chariot. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah. I don't think we're not going to see another era of them printing good equipment, but I could totally see vehicles coming back. People like them. They just need to exist in a world where there is some kind of instant speed interaction.
Yeah, that's
one of the
the big
big issues
problem.
was everything was sorcery speed in this last couple blocks, and they were almost unanswerable.
yeah, because sorcery speed creature removal does nothing against a vehicle unless it's
Yeah.
blocking, and then you still have to finish combat to destroy it. But overall, I think we should move on to the other one. But I think overall, this is a good call. I think this is a good thing to ban for the fun of the format and the diversity of the format, because it wasn't going to take over like Felidar because it wasn't as consistent, but it's still just a combo deck, and
Yeah.
people don't
and
really
Wizards
like
doesn't really
combo. Like, as much as Gideon sucks, at least you have a chance because it doesn't just win the game on your turn. Like, you don't feel like the game's just over when a Gideon hits the table. It's like Heart of Kirin plus Gideon's really good, but there's answers.
Yeah.
But anyway, in addition to that, on top of all the things that Wizards wanted us to see, they also, it's probably not an accident because they do send out this promo material early, and it almost always happens. But they
there
sent
were
out
two non-promo. Oh, actually, no. One of them was actually a game, or not game day,
There's 4.
pre-release promo. There's 4 total. One of them looks like a legit just leaked card. One of them has the timestamp for pre-release. The other 2 are game day promos.
So yeah, we have 4 cards that got leaked, basically. Kind of the always leaks because this happens almost every set where the promo material
much.
goes out and some shop takes pictures of it and posts them on the internet. But we're just going to go over the 4 cards really, really quick. Freeman, why don't you pick the first one?
I'll go the first one because we're both looking at Mythic Spoiler. So I'll start from the left with, how do you pronounce this? Ruminap Excavator?
Ramunap, maybe?
Raminap. He's green and 2 for a 2/3 Naga Cleric, and he's got the Crucible of Worlds ability. You can play land cards from your graveyard. And this is pretty cool because, Crucible of World is a very expensive card. It is
Very
well
expensive.
played in EDH. There's tons of like land combos and stuff like Gitrog Monster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool seeing that, the price may come down because of this, but this also will most likely make some kind of a splash in Modern. This is hit by Collected Company. It's in the range to Cord. It's a 2/3, so it's hit by Bolt. So it's not like this crazy unanswerable thing. If
It's
someone
hit
plays
by
Crucible
Bolt.
Worlds,
Fails test.
you need artifact destruction, but it's really easy to deal with creatures. So it's somewhat balanced. It's cool to see it in Standard, mostly because we have cycling lands right now. So you can cycle for value and then still play that land.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I think this is a very cool card. I'm very excited to see it printed.
I think this is going to explode in Commander. The decks that ran Crucible of Worlds were basically always green.
Yeah,
And
for, like,
having
loam
a
and stuff.
creature version for something like Marin that you can recur. I think the fact that there is now, because Wizards' favorite thing is taking cards that are not creatures and putting them on creatures.
Yeah.
And anything on a creature at this point in Magic is better than a non-creature version. 9 out of 10 times.
Basically.
There's just too many tricks you can do with creatures that you can't do with other things that are harder to do with other things. Even though they die easier, they're also easier to get. Like I said, Marin is a whole commander built around getting this back. Oh, you wipe my board? Well, I'm going to get it back anyway, and then I have Crucible of Worlds again. Whereas if you wanted to run Crucible of Worlds in Marin, you'd have to also run Artifact Recursion, or if you accidentally mill it yourself or it just dies, you're never getting it back again.
It also helps that, sometimes just having a creature is nice. If you don't have any creatures, you can't attack with Crucible Worlds. You can't block a Fatal Strike with Crucible Worlds. Like, sometimes you are going to throw this away or do something dumb with it, but you can usually get at least one activation or one land out of it, and then you still have a 2/3 body, which is usually pretty solid.
Moving on, since we have 4 cards to cover, we're going to try to go really quick so Tyler doesn't fall asleep.
Yeah, right.
Who? What? Huh? I'm awake.
We've only been on for like 10 minutes. It's fine.
We have a card that I'm very excited about, actually. Wildfire Eternal.
Oh, this
It's
one's
a
cool.
3 and a red zombie jackal cleric with a new ability called Afflict 4. Afflict seems to be an ability that says whenever this creature becomes blocked, defending player loses X life, where X is the number of Afflict. And then Wildfire Eternal has when it attacks and isn't blocked, so if you don't trigger the Afflict, you may cast an instant or sorcery from your hand without paying its mana cost. That's
So this one's
bonkers.
really interesting. First of all, I really love was it Afflict?
Yes.
Effect? Yeah. There was a mechanic printed in M14 for slivers, which is when the sliver attacks, it deals 1 damage to target player or like defending player, and that's a cool mechanic. I personally love it because even before damage, you can still do crazy stuff like kill someone before blocks. But with this is a really interesting take on. I don't know. Wizards like to call it a Punisher mechanic, where an opposing player gets to decide, how it goes down.
It's kind of like what's that thing called from Theros?
Tribute,
where you basically do I give you 1/1 counters or do I give you some other cool thing?
The problem with Tribute was that usually you got the worst end of the deal because your opponent would pick whatever works best for them. But the idea behind this is, like, if you look at this guy's ability, you can cast an instant sorcery. You're in red. You're trying to be aggressive. If you don't get that instant sorcery, congrats. You got like a free bolt +1 out of it.
Yeah.
Plus another one because he's still attacking. So.
Now, this is kind of expensive. It's a 1/4 for 4, which is certainly not great. But the ability itself, if you can give it haste or something, I feel like in Commander, especially in like a Spell Slinger deck, this would be really, really fun.
Definitely.
And this is also kind of an ability we've seen before. There's the Ib Halfheart, the Goblin Commander, who basically has this ability where if a Goblin is blocked, you sacrifice it and it deals 4 damage. Obviously, you don't have to sacrifice this, but it's a very similar thing where, well, you want to block my creature, you're going to take a bunch more damage than the block actually is, even if you kill it.
This also plays kind of cool with there's that one red Exert creature with like extra combat phases.
Yes.
So I feel like this plays in well to something like that.
Yeah. Do you want me to... If you can't kill my creature, you're either taking 8 or you are letting me cast 2 spells.
Yeah, really.
And taking 2 damage.
It's a cool card. I like this.
Yeah, this is out of the 4 cards that have been shown so far, this is absolutely the most exciting for me. All right, next one, Freeman.
The next one was a letdown when I actually read the text. So this card is a Braid. It's red and 1 for an instant. And has 2 abilities. You choose one. Either deals 3 damage to target creature or it destroys target artifact. And when I first read it, I completely misread it as deal 3 to target creature or player. And I'm like, no way. They printed a lightning strike with upsides. But it's not quite because it can't deal to the face or deal with planeswalkers. But this is it's a decent enough red removal spell. It's also artifact destruction.
We were talking about instant speed artifact destruction.
Yeah, this is kind of what we needed because right now, I'm not sure what else there was. I know they printed the green cycling one that Wizards like, oh, mainboard this because you could cycle it if you don't need it, which is pretty cool. But this is even better because if you're not going to be destroying artifacts, chances are you can deal with creatures.
Yeah.
If they're not too big.
Yeah. Because basically every single deck in like Standard is running creatures or artifacts to some degree, so
yeah,
this is almost never a dead card.
No, this is pretty solid. I really wish it had like creature or planeswalker because I know they're moving away from red being able to deal damage directly to the face, which is a little shitty.
Yeah,
but I wish it was more of a catch-all card.
Yeah,
even they had to bump it up to 3, but still, this is a really good card at 2. It's definitely going to see some Standard play, even if it's just sideboards. This is going to see play.
I could see like one main, one side, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just so versatile. Because so much of Standard, especially without combo, is now going to be on the ground. Like if you're not doing an energy deck, this is better than Harness Lightning.
It actually is.
So why not?
Yeah.
And then the final card. This is very quick because we don't know much of what it does. This is Adorned Pouncer, which is a 1 and a white cat with 1/1 double strike and something called Eternalize for 3 and white. But that's all we can say about it because we don't know what Eternalize does yet.
People are thinking it's going to be like some kind of embalm, but it makes like some kind of an emblem or something. I don't know.
Or embalm back to your hand is what some people were saying.
This has got to be good enough because it's A, it's a rare, B, it's a game day promo. And
C,
one
the
thing
ability
everyone's
costs
pointing out-
3 white, whereas the card costs 1 and a white.
Yeah, so usually they put so I'm guessing Eternalize is going to be a generally expensive mechanic, but they put this on a very low cost creature, and I think
So
that's
there's
why
got to be a
it's
reason.
rare. But the one thing everyone's flipping out about is this is the first time we've had a card that isn't a Planeswalker where the art extends onto the frame of the card. I think his nails are covering the creature type, and
They are.
everyone's very excited about that because there's a lot of art
tech,
freaks
though.
when it comes to Magic.
All right, Tyler, you can wake up. We're finally done talking about.
Holy shit! What year is it?
It's probably good that we didn't talk about the 25th anniversary stuff.
No, yeah, that's why I said we'll do the special episode this Friday. Saturday is one of the last things we do before.
That wasn't even
Kirby.
a whole episode, audience.
That was. Hey, it was only like 15 minutes. Shut up,
That was only 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Tyler. What do you want to talk about from E3?
What do I want to talk about? Oh man, what don't I want to talk about? Nothing, because it's all not hype. Just kidding.
That's fair.
Like, there's only a couple of things
It's like just a little hype.
Well, so the things that I wanted to see from E3, I never got. So the things I never got was Death Stranding and The Last of Us 2. The two things like I really wanted, and I knew I was never gonna get like any Rockstar stuff, but like I was holding out for like some Last of Us or Death Stranding. But like I was like, okay, like that's fine. I guess I won't get those. But like we got like Evil Within 2. I'm kind of okay with that, but I'm like whatever. God of War 4. I'm just like whatever. Days Gone looks really cool, but I have nothing to really go through that. Like,
It does look pretty solid.
Like it looks cool, and like for some reason I didn't know this, but Naughty Dog is putting it together, and like that's supposed to be coming out by the end of the year. And then there's like one I'm not sure if I should be hype about, and that's Detroit Become Human. And like I was briefly talking to Tim about this before the podcast.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
yeah, this is the new game by Quantic Dream. And for those of you who know Quantic Dream or know their games, you might know, or who don't know Quantic Dream, you know their games, Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy and Beyond Two Souls that I didn't really enjoy too much.
Tyler doesn't want to talk about that game.
I don't want to talk about it, man. I was so hyped because I'm like, oh man, like you got Ellen Page and the Green Goblin, man. Like you can't do any wrong, and well, they
Turns out you can.
yeah.
Turns out you really can.
Turns out you really can, and so. I watched the trailer for Detroit, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Though.
That's the thing. Like everything was kind of underwhelming for me this E3. The other good thing is just a kind of general thing. We're gonna probably go, and we're gonna go into it. Is like the Nintendo stuff. Like it didn't get me too hype, but I was like, okay, this kind of secures my future purchase in a Switch.
Oh, totally getting a Switch.
Yeah, like that, but that's all it was, and like I knew I was gonna get one. I'm like, all right, but like outside that, there's nothing I was really too like, oh my god, Sugoi, like about. You know what I mean? Like that was about it. There was really nothing else.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I'll jump in with the Nintendo, but they did the thing they always do. They announced their core franchise. They showed off Kirby. They showed off the Mario game we knew about, and they showed off some really cool stuff with Mario's hat like taking over elements of the level.
What?
That was
That's an
pretty
interesting
weird.
concept
I would go watch
that
the
they
show.
got going on with that.
They're always stretching with what they can do with Mario. I remember there was a lot of negative feedback when Sunshine got announced, but like
You know what I
Sunshine's-
like?
I love Sunshine, so this
Also
might be
like
really good.
Sunshine. No, I like though. They started giving him like new items. Like it's almost like a Legend of Zelda, right? Where it's like, oh, the main focal point of the game is gonna be whatever item we give Mario. But this time it's
Yeah.
like, no. What if we think simple? And then
What if we
Shigeru's
go
like,
even lower?
right? He's like, what about a mushroom? Go simpler, Shigeru. Oh, a bottle of water. No. Even simpler. Yo, his hat. Bingo. We got a game. Like that. I feel like that's how the discussion went.
Next, it'll be like, oh, what can we do about Mario being Italian? Can we, or what do we do about the Mario nose? Or look at that button on his overalls.
Yo, his button's gonna do stuff, guaranteed. Just give it like another 5 years.
The power
This is like-
button.
this is the Nintendo way. I remember when they announced Pikmin, they said it was because Miyamoto was in his garden and he saw like a bottle cap that ants were moving, and he's like, "How can I make this a game?" And that's how we got the Pikmin series.
Yo, that's how you come up with a game, though. I told you guys how almost quick story for. Well, it depends. Did I tell you guys how we came up with the blind man?
No.
By chance, did I tell you that I made this game?
No.
I've not heard the story yet.
Okay, so me and some friends of mine, we're doing a hackathon back at school, and our ritual for these 48-hour game jams, we would go out to eat and we would brainstorm, right? And this theme for this one was co-op, right? And we're sitting in the Wendy's and we're just like thinking of like what to do, and like all of a sudden this guy comes in with his service dog. It was like some handicapped guy. I think it was like in a wheelchair.
Oh my god.
Or something like that. Oh, you know,
No,
at the time...
I'm not
No,
saying
it's
it's
a happy
bad.
story.
That's good.
Yeah, and so like I don't know who said it. I don't want to say it was me. It was someone though.
I don't want to say it was
like,
me. It was totally me, guys.
It was
Tyler's
totally
like,
me.
oh, look at that doggo. Let's make it a game.
Yo, I mean that's what happened. Like, yo, what if a person was a dog and the other person was a human, and like so, and we're like, well, what do you mean? It's like, yo, I mean one person can like lead the other person around, and then the other person would like, you know, try to get across the street. And the whole concept is it's a co-op game, right? Where it's
Co-op
just
escort
that.
mission?
Yes, actually, that's pretty much the entire game. It's like Frogger, except like one person is blind, right? Like so, it takes some like, I don't know what you'd call it.
Coordination?
Well, it takes coordination, but I meant like actual participation from like the people who are playing the game. So it's like it's almost like it's akin to that that bomb game, the VR bomb game, where like one person puts on.
Oh, where you have like a team of people telling you how to disarm the bomb.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that, but except they can't tell you where to go, right? I mean, they could, but it really doesn't help. So, but like the whole point is to like the person who's playing the dog, right, has to guide whoever's blindfolded, right, who is playing as a blind man across the street.
Okay.
That's basically the game, and like we got it from literally this guy walking into the Wendy's with a service animal.
See, the problem is,
Inspiration
how do you
can come
turn
from
that into a
anywhere.
game?
Yo, man, anything's a game. That's the secret
no,
I learned.
No, I guess the
Just try
idea is
hard
it's a
and believe in
hackathon,
yourself.
so you just kind of throw an idea out there and see if you can implement it in some cool way.
Yeah,
And
man.
they'd be like, "Nah, we're done though."
Yo, but like that's how inspiration comes. It literally just comes from anywhere. Like I don't know, and it's hard to force. I've learned that too. Like as a person, like even you guys, like when you guys like develop, you know, stuff. Like just like
I don't know
got,
what you
like,
losers develop, but whenever you
No,
develop
I know.
something,
So like, well, what? Freeman's a
Andrew's
software
AI
developer.
bullshit.
Yeah, and like Tim, you do drafting stuff. It's
I
like
don't.
sometimes. What? I know what you guys do. The hell?
No, I know, but I don't. Saying I develop things is an interesting way to put it.
You do.
No, I don't.
You
Like
do.
a computer artist.
No.
I mean, like in
Keep
the
going,
grand
it's
scheme
fine.
of things.
Keep going.
Yeah, but you guys know what I mean. And like, if
Yes.
whoever's listening out there, like, if you ever developed anything or like come up with an idea, like, if you're forced to do things, sometimes it like sometimes it just doesn't come. Sometimes it does. Ha! Wow, I heard that chortle. I heard that. Like, hey, he said an
Freeman,
adult
God, that's
word.
not funny.
He said an adult word. Hey. Hey. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
So back to Nintendo at E3.
Nintendo at E3.
Yeah.
So Nintendo did this thing that they do every time things aren't going great into an E3. Well, first, they start announcing games that really clearly shouldn't be getting announced yet. So they showed off Metroid Prime 4, which at least had a trailer with the title in it. So we don't know anything
Like a
other than that this
picture?
game, like a picture,
It's like a
with
picture.
words.
Guys, it's okay.
and a number.
Samus is in it, so it has to be
It's
good.
okay, Samus is in
More
it.
importantly, I'm actually excited for Metroid Prime 4 because I love the Metroid Prime series. I thought 3 was great. It was a great finale. I didn't think they'd ever come back.
Do you want to talk about Other M?
That game didn't happen.
Oh shit!
Wow.
that game didn't.
That
even
game didn't happen. But the one thing Nintendo did, and I always can count on them to do this, is blatantly announce a game that wasn't in development 20 minutes ago. So 2007 or 2006, when the Wii was out, they had a really shitty E3. They didn't show off anything new. And at the very end, they're like, oh yeah, Masahiro Sakurai is going to direct new Smash Bros. It's going to be great. And then Sakurai has an interview 2 months later saying he didn't know he was going to be directing Smash Bros. So they clearly just were like, all right, fuck it, we got to announce something good. And I know we complained about last week about I was very underwhelmed with the Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon announcement because, it's not on Switch. I want to play a Switch Pokemon game. They say, oh yeah, there's a mainline Pokemon game being developed for Switch. No other news about it. Nintendo usually does not announce Pokemon games until they have something to show off. So they clearly phoned this one in this weekend. So
Damn.
we'll see how long it takes for that game to come out.
Right.
But the last two things I want to talk about was one, Rocket League on Switch, which is great because now we got Rocket League on mobile.
That's
Yes.
it. Yeah, Rocket League.
Oh, I said A.
Hey,
I thought you were saying I, and you were going to finish the sentence.
aye.
And then the last part was one of my favorite Nintendo games, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga for Game Boy Advance, is getting remastered, remade for 3DS, which is pretty cool. Graphics look sick. The sound's updated. If you haven't played Superstar Saga, definitely play this game. It's really easy to pirate it. I'm not endorsing it, but I totally am. Go play it. This game is a
Damn.
lot of fun.
Oof.
Well, I mean, where are you going
what
to buy
you
Game
gotta
Boy Advance
do.
games? Impossible to find.
So you gotta go. So in Clifton, there's this place. This is like retro
Oh,
game
the-
place.
oh,
You
I
gotta
know
go
what you're talking
there. Yeah, that place is the shit, man.
Yeah, I miss when Funko Land was a thing before GameStop bought all
Funko
of them.
Land, holy shit, dude. Now that's like in the time capsule with Blockbuster. Fucking Bradley's, dude.
Jeez.
Holy hell.
Yeah, right. All right, I think that covers everything from Nintendo. Tim, do you want to talk about Microsoft?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Microshits.
So like I said, I wasn't in town for the whole from Saturday till just yesterday late at night. I got home, but I looked up some of the Microsoft stuff because honestly, they're the only company I'm really interested in because I do have an Xbox One, and I can't now that I got an apartment. I definitely can't afford to get any more consoles, and I have a PC, so things Microsoft says still affect me. There were a few things. Obviously, they announced what the Scorpio is. It's the Xbox One X. So it's the Xbox.
I can't help but laugh at that fucking
This
name.
They are-
scheme
It's
is
so
insane.
stupid.
Dude,
I can't.
they are doubling down so hard on these things. Like we went from the Xbox One to the Xbox.
It's
They are-
like
they are
I guarantee you
trying.
they're going to give up, and the next one is just Xbox 4.
No, it's just X. It's
I
just
believe
X.
The next one is just the X.
It's
man,
the X.
it's starting to sound like an edgelord from like 2004. Though,
It's the
like, actually.
X, and the console is shaped like a box. So you could call it an Xbox.
Get the fuck out of here.
See, this is where
I
innovation
remember
comes from.
seeing concept art for the 360 that was literally just an X-shaped console. Like, these memories are coming
Dude,
full circle.
Freeman,
here.
did you ever have an original Xbox?
No, I didn't.
The
but didn't have an
original
X on top of the
Xboxes
box.
were basically just a big X, but with like
A box.
It was basically in part of the box, but you could tell there was an X there. Like
Yeah.
there was basically like raised and lower, like you know how they kind of make like a grill, like you run your hand over and it's rough. It was like everywhere that wasn't the smooth X was a grill, so you could clearly see that this was supposed to be an X. If they had had the technology, it would have just been an X.
I love that whole era of consoles. You had that and you had the GameCube. Everyone was
Yep.
doing weird shapes and stuff. And now
Except
it's,
for the PlayStation. The PlayStation 2 was literally just a fucking box.
And then it got destroyed, except it didn't.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah, I love the PS2. Fuck.
so there's a new Xbox. I'm not going to own it, but that's
Same.
cool.
this is the same problem I had when the PS4 Pro got announced. I'm like, well, I already own that console. I mean,
But there are two very cool pieces of news that came out of Microsoft that I'm excited for. Crackdown 3 finally got shown again after being revealed at E3, I think 2 years ago. When the
it was
Xbox
sometime.
One was first shown, they had a Terry Crews trailer, which was very funny, that I watched earlier.
So wait, did you like Crackdown 2, Tim?
I did not,
You didn't? Okay, that's
but
what
I
I
loved
thought.
Crackdown 1.
Who didn't love Crackdown 1? I thought Crackdown 1 was amazing.
Dude, you got in the car and it turned into a Batmobile with machine guns, man. It was so awesome.
Oh my
You just
god.
peel out of the underground, under the like ocean agency base, and you just go fly. Like you just punch it, and you're flying through the air because your car is so fast because you have maximum driving level. And when like the shock,
Yeah.
literally when you get into the car, and if you're max driving level, as soon as it finishes transforming, there's a shockwave that would actually knock people to the ground if they were too
Yeah.
close to your car. That was the hypest
Damn.
thing ever.
That game was so great.
That game, and this looks like it has 4-player co-op, which is super
Ooh.
awesome.
Okay, so I might get this.
No, Tyler, if this comes out on
Might
PC, we should get it and play it together.
Well, here's the deal. Well, this actually kind of gets into what I want to talk about with Microsoft. So, like, is it going to be an Xbox One exclusive?
Well, let's literally live on the air.
Live on air, search it, because if
Crackdown
it is...
3, it says on Xbox.com, Crackdown 3 on
Oh, no, it is,
Windows
because
10
Microsoft
PC and
Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means... Yeah, it's definitely... So, was it... last year, right, that's when they started doing their... Microsoft Studios are doing their exclusives on PC as well. This is what I think. This is my hypothesis. You heard it here first, folks. I think Microsoft is slowly trying to phase themselves out of the console market.
I would not be surprised, but that's
Slowly.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And like as long as they still Microsoft Studios still makes games.
Yeah, I don't think that sorry, I know I keep saying I think.
You think?
It seems to me they can afford if they can edge into the PC space against like Steam and Origin and all those, if they can carve out their own niche of their own exclusive games on top of maintaining the Xbox brand, because there is still something there. There is still spark to the Xbox brand. They can afford to take a loss on the console stuff because it pushes them to do better and gives them alternative options to get into the living room, which is still a space they'd like to be in.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Xbox turns into more of just a gaming branded PC, and then they start selling more PCs because they're doing the Surface, and they started doing you know that Surface, like the giant Surface that's a computer, the Surface Studio, that like $5,000
the
thing.
giant touchscreen one.
Oh, yeah.
So I have not everyone does, but I have one of those rich uncles. He has one of those, and he said it's literally the best PC he's ever owned in his entire life.
Really?
It's
And he
pretty
actually
nice.
doesn't do artwork. He actually runs a website, and he runs a lottery website, and that's how he's earned his money. And he said it is the single greatest machine he's ever used.
Wow.
The Surface Studio.
Now that's a bold
And
statement.
on top of that, but all it is a more advanced version of the all-in-one PCs that are becoming more and more popular. Like I know,
Right.
My dad's mom, my grandma, her computer broke down a little while ago, and my dad flew out to where they live to replace it, and they ended up getting an all-in-one PC because she could touch the screen. Her eyes aren't that good. She can touch the screen. It's
just really convenient.
It is for people who don't care about touchscreens. Like I know none of us use touchscreens because we're more, but that's mostly gamers these days. If you have a keyboard, there's still so many people who like to have the touch, especially because phones are still so big.
Right.
That's the not so big secret, is that phones are taking over. There's more kids out there now who are highly proficient with the cell phone, but they have no idea how to use their computer.
Yeah,
That's the weird thing, but I get it.
I know
that's why
Like,
we
you
have these
understand it, but you don't
monitors
wanna
that can
believe it.
turn into portrait mode.
Like there are
No one ever
people,
thought of that before because it was useless.
Right. Like there are kids at my job this is kind of weird, right? Who are younger than I am, and they're like I would be like, all right, so go behind the DVR and fuck with it pretty much, and they're like, well, how do I do that?
Why do I need the DVR?
My bro, you can. Well, it's for the cameras and shit, because they cut off sometimes.
Right.
For some unexplained reason, and
where's
first thing
the
you go
cord?
to. Yeah, they're like, well, Tyler, there's so many things back there. I'm like, well, there's a switch. There's one switch. Well, I don't want it to break. I'm like, dude, it's just like everything else.
I don't want it to break.
I don't want it to break,
man. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that.
This is why I am now the resident IT person, because apparently I'm just young and old enough to operate a computer system, apparently.
I mean, it was only a few years after us that everyone had internet for their entire life, didn't have to use dial-up, and has cell phone with them all the time. And in a few years, it'll be they always had a smartphone with them. Because there's still people a few years below us who always had a cell phone, not a smartphone. True. But we're getting to the point where people entering the late high school, college even, always had some kind of device on them. And
we had to load up Newgrounds on DSL.
Addicting games.
Dude, oh my god.
Throwback.
Yo.
But anyway, going back to Crackdown real quick.
Crackdown.
When I Googled whether or not it was on PC, I saw the Xbox.com thing that says it can be played on Windows 10 PC, which makes me think it's going to be that Xbox store that's on the PC. But that's honestly, I don't care. But I saw a PC gamer had a headline 12 hours ago. Crackdown 3 can be finished in less than 3 hours if you're in a hurry. That is fantastic because you could do that with the original Crackdown.
Actually.
That's
Like,
cool.
you could just go and kill every gang leader. Like, just hop around, fire some rockets, and kill them, and you're out. And that was it. You could probably finish that game in 3 hours.
Yeah, if you really.
So the
if you
fact
really
that they're
wanted
going
to.
back in that direction, that's fantastic. Because 2 was pretty boring, and fighting the zombies was like, what the hell is all this?
Yeah, that wasn't the best. I don't think the way they approached it was the strongest.
Honestly, I would play Crackdown again today. I would start a new game and just go.
Oh hell
But
yeah!
the only problem is there were so many orbs. Orbs
Yeah,
were
that's the
so
problem.
long.
Like, if you wanted to like efficiently complete that game, you had to level yourself up. You had no choice.
I think if they cut down on the orbs by like 25% for the next one, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, well, I understand what they were trying to get at. With,
No,
like,
it's
the
not a bad system.
exploration.
It's like if you work to get on top of this building, here's the better ability to get on top of tall buildings to jump higher.
Yeah, they did
And the-
reward you like
It's like a good payoff system.
Yeah,
with
just a
whatever
few
skill
less.
you were doing.
and
Just
like
a
having
few
the
less.
little gun droplets that shoot at you when you like headshot somebody. It's like, pow! I got a headshot, so I get some gun skill because I'm better at shooting guns now. But anyway, the last thing I wanted to talk about for Microsoft before we get to Weeb stuff. Original Xbox games will be added to the compatibility list for the Xbox One. That is so freaking cool.
That is
because
really good.
I had to, when I was living in Utah, I had to take my original Xbox on a plane, and they stopped it because they thought it was a bomb.
Believe it.
It actually
It's a
got
fucking
pulled out of
Not
the line.
surprised.
Yo, listen.
But it wasn't
there's
even
only
mine.
Like 5 games though.
It wasn't even mine. It was Ed's original Xbox because mine,
Oh.
the disc tray in mine no longer works. These things are breaking down, and there's still some amazing games I've wanted to Let's Play on there. Specifically, more than anything else, I got a bunch of the Star Wars games off, but I wanted to do Mech Assault 1 and Mech Assault 2 because I love those games, and I have not been able to Let's Play them because you can't emulate original Xbox games well, and recording them is such a pain because there's such a... The console is not made well enough to not break... It's breaking down.
Yeah.
And, like, I would love to have some of these original... I don't think they released any games that they're going to have, but they basically said they're taking their system of making Xbox 360 games compatible and making some Xbox One games. Now that... Or original games, that probably means things like original Halo, Halo 2...
Combat Evolved. Man, those are the only 2 games. I had an Xbox, but like, man, I didn't like it. The only games I ever played on it were Halo 1 and 2. And
See, that was my only console that was from that generation, so I have a whole bunch that I'd love to play. Like Secret Weapons over Normandy, one of my favorite flying games that I finally got to replay recently, and it's actually terrible.
Damn, when that game didn't age well.
But to not sound like one of those Smash Brothers snobs, I would like to be able to play on the original setup.
Shots fired.
Damn, yo, the CRT. You don't understand the no lag. It makes a
Popping off.
difference. It makes a difference.
That controller defect for Fox, though.
Okay, the controller defect is like kind of stupid in my opinion.
That's some horse
Everybody
shit.
will
Is that the
disagree.
line,
That
Tyler?
aside.
That's the line?
That's the line. That is.
I need that original GameCube controller from this production run that has this defect, and there's
Yeah,
like
that's
50
where I
of them.
actually draw the line. I'm like, okay, that's actually bullshit.
That's when you just main Jigglypuff and call it a day.
Jesus. Fucking wrestling
Top tier right
motherfuckers.
now. Top tier.
Is she
Um,
really?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I don't
'cause of the
understand.
meta, dude.
It took him
That
long enough to
game-
realize how good her air skills are.
Because
I
you
don't
can like air
understand.
sing, right?
And it's not the air thing.
Aw.
It's, she has an insane hitbox on her side air, and it's really easy to just wall someone for the entire game.
Oh my God.
know what I don't
Hey,
get,
okay,
though?
we're not
It's
talking about
been-
Melee.
Yeah, we're talking about Melee.
No, we're
But-
talking about Freeman. The other things that you
Fine.
had listed on
Oh, yeah.
the E3 stuff.
All right, yeah, no. 2 of these are for real. One of them's a joke. So the first one for real is a Life is Strange prequel got announced, and just seeing the announcement got me really excited because I'm a huge Life is Strange fan. Even though this is the cringiest game to ever come out, I love this.
It's
and
teenage
there was-
Weird
girl
that they're
the game.
announcing this around the same time as the sequel also coming out.
So the sequel hasn't been officially announced, but no. The team mentioned they are working on a new Life is Strange game, and at first I thought this was what they were working on, but it turns out the prequel is being developed by a different studio,
Weird.
and it will cover essentially the lead up of events into Life is Strange. featuring
So less
there's
time
two there's
stuff.
yeah there's I think they confirmed there's no time stuff. So like they said, your decisions really matter in this game, so you can't rewind to see what would go differently. But it stars, for anyone who's played Life is Strange, there's two main characters, Max and Chloe. Max is the main character of Life is Strange, and this prequel will be about Chloe and one of the characters who's missing in the original game, who was talked about heavily. She will be an important part in the prequel. But I was shocked to see, A, another studio is doing it, and B, they were staying in the same timeline, because Don't Nod, the studio that did Life is Strange, said that if they did another Life is Strange project, it would be a separate original storyline. So it's cool seeing they're going back to the original storyline. I'm not sure how it's going to play out. I'm also a little disappointed just because of the voice actor strike that Chloe's original voice actress is not reprising her role.
Oh.
She is joining as a writer, though. So she will help kind of keep the character the way she had done it, but she will not be voice acting for strike reasons.
Lame.
Yeah,
It's really shitty.
lame.
Yeah. And then the second one, which when I heard about it, I was like, this is going to suck. Dragon Ball Fighters with a capital Z at the end, so DBFZ. When someone told me about it when I was at Anime Next this weekend, I was like, it's another DBZ fighting game. We've seen a million. Except I heard who's working on it. Arc System Games, who did like Guilty Gear. They did Blaze
yeah.
Blue. They know how to do 2D fighters, and they're
Wow.
working on this. So I went and I watched the trailer, and it looks really tight. I'm really excited to see how this game plays. Like, I know they're going to do what they do with every fighting game and put out a demo like a month before it comes out. And I'm really looking forward to this one, because I played the shit out of Budokai 1 and Budokai 3 and a little bit of the other ones, but once they stopped doing like, your normal 2D fighter stuff, I backed away. But this looks really cool. It looks like a DBZ skin of Guilty Gear or something. So this is going to be cool. And then the last one I wanted to talk about, because this is the pinnacle of modern game design, is Final Fantasy 15 VR fishing for PS4.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
The future is now.
No, they take
Actually,
literally
though,
the worst thing
hold
about
on.
that fucking game, though, and they make it into a VR game. No way.
But hold on, though. You reminded me of another trailer I saw over the weekend while I was... The one thing I saw in Ohio that caught my interest, Doom VR.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about
yeah.
that. That's a lot better.
That's
That-
actually cool. This was
That
meant to be a
looks
joke, but
really cool. I'm never going to play it. And I'm sad that it's probably going to be a failure, but it's super cool that they're doing it. Because,
It is.
man,
I
oh
need to get some
man,
VR
nothing
systems.
goes well with Doom like teleporting around instead of running and gunning. Like, even the trailer can't hide, like, oh, I teleport over to this jump pad and I'm in the air and then time slows so that I have time to react because I can't move. So I turn and shoot a few shots and then turn back and teleport over to there because that's how I move.
Yeah,
Because
I
I'm
think
in VR.
it's kind of weird. Like, the Twitchy shooter was, like, the first game to really be in, like, the new wave of VR. I don't know. I kind of missed the novelty of John Carmack working on the Oculus.
Yeah.
yeah.
Even though, like, I'm like, man, who actually wants to play this Twitch shooter on a fucking VR? No one. Not a single person.
No, it's
It's
really
cool.
it's a cool idea, and it's cool that they're doing more stuff with Doom. Just like I don't want to just be teleporting around in Doom. That seems so. That's not how Doom works.
No, it's
And it seems like
It's
the
annoying.
guys who do Doom, like I don't know if I've mentioned to you guys before, the guy who does No Clip. It's like this really, really cool video game documentary channel. They did a thing where they interviewed a bunch of the guys who made Doom, and these guys seem to totally get it. So for it to be VR, I have to imagine it's either a Bethesda thing or they thought they wanted to just try it and see how they could do it. But it just, like, turning, like that, I have that 5 seconds in my head of I aim my teleport command at this jump pad, immediately teleport over, launch into the air, turn around, there's a Kako demon. I shoot a few bullets into its face, but I'm starting to hit this point where I'm arcing back down, and I want to go over there. So I turn back around and aim slightly to the left of where I would just land on my own. And I'm in slow-mo time right now, so I'm just going to teleport over there.
I'd probably throw up.
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as fantastic.
It's starting to sound a lot like wait mode in Final Fantasy 15. We just pause time, figure out where we're going to warp next. Except
kinda.
it's not in VR.
But yeah, so all right, Friedman. Take us out of the news.
Oh man, it's time for the weeb shit. All right, so this is the last week of the spring anime season. So I know there's been a lot of trash this season, but this coming Saturday is the last
Has there,
episode
though?
of
You've
Attack
never
on Titan.
talked about it.
So there's some shows. I still want to start 2 or 3 that people are talking about, maybe, new modern masterpieces. Like there's one called Recreators, and it's one of those, guy gets transported to a fantasy world, but it's done right because everything going on in the world is actually seriously cool. Like there's the opening episode is this girl fighting, but she's using like a sword and a rifle, but she plays it like a violin and uses these sound wave attacks. Like it's the most weeb shit I've seen, but it looks pretty cool. I need to try it. The big problem is it's based on a novel, so there's a shit ton of like exposition in the middle of episodes with nothing happening. So it's 50-50. People either hate it or love it. There's a lot of really cutesy anime happening that I'm just not watching this season that I'm fairly certain Luigi is.
Damn. Throw him under the
There's
bus.
one my buddy was recommending. I think it was called like Koe no Katachi or something. It's supposed to be like a more realistic romance show, so I'm gonna give that a shot because I'm a sucker for that. But the real hype has been Titan and Hero Academia, and Hero Academia has another 12 episodes this season. It's entering a new arc, which is gonna be really good.
Started
But I had the
watching that.
chance to. Oh, what do you think so far?
I like it.
That's what I like to hear.
Isn't
I
that the
like
first
it.
episode you showed us that looked so weird, and then you're like, no, don't watch this.
Yeah, I'm like, you
Keep
gotta watch more. I
going.
forgot
It's
how
it's
goofy
good
the
past
first
it.
episode of Hero is, because like the first 4 together are like this good arc that gets you going.
Actually, yeah, I
Where you're
actually liked the first like 4 or 5 episodes. I was like, this is
The problem
nice.
is like you gotta watch like the first 2 together at least. The
Right.
first alone doesn't stand on its own. But Hero Academia was so fucking hyped this week. I had the chance to watch Hero and Titan at Anime Next because they both came out on Saturday, and holy fuck, this was so hype. I'm so sad to see Titan ending because I looked in, I did the math for the studio that's
The
been doing
math.
Titan,
Oh no.
and the earliest possible that they could even reasonably work on it is next winter.
Wow.
That's the earliest possible because, I looked at their schedule and they had this huge gap coming up next season where it looked like they were going to do a second half of Titan, which they're not apparently. But then they're doing 3 cores of this new show called Ancient Magus Bride, which everyone is getting super hyped about. And then for anyone who knows what they were doing last year, they were working on Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, which
Oh,
was this like
yeah.
steampunk zombie train show, which started off really cool and then it fell off and everyone hated it, except Japan loved the living shit out of
Well,
it.
I love that
they made-
show.
they
I
made-
liked it.
2 recap movies, which outsold the original series.
What the hell?
And it was so hyped. They're like, all right, we got to do season 2. This is our like man-made like golden cow. So they're going, and they're making season 2 next summer. Which I don't know if it's gonna be double core, so for 24 episodes. But point is, that's their golden cow's not the term.
Damn,
Like,
I like that.
chicken laying
Their
the golden egg. That's
goose.
golden goose.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, man.
So they're doing that all of next summer. So the earliest they could start working on Titan is winter. But there's a lot of predictions that like in 2 years from now we're gonna see a 3rd season that's 24 episodes that could feasibly wrap up the show.
Huh.
But which leads me into my next point.
Yep.
Because I was listening to a lot of YouTubers talking about why it's really only 12 episodes. And the big thing is a lot of studios are struggling to get enough talent to stick around to do a show that's 24 episodes long. And we're seeing that the anime industry is not very friendly to new people coming in. There's no big training programs like there used to be in the past for animators. And lately, conditions for animators in the community has been really shitty. It's one of the lowest paying jobs out there. So unless you're A, really passionate, and B, really talented, no one's getting into this field. So we're seeing less and less people in animation who can work for these studios, so they can't take on these huge 24-episode projects. They're doing these 12-episode projects in twice the time because they don't have the animation staff. And it's only in the last couple months we've seen a lot of studios started opening their new training programs. One's like A1 Pictures, who I think they did like Sword Art Online. They're looking for new animators. Sunrise, who owns Gundam, they're specifically looking to train new people because there's so few people who actually know how to draw robots. Most shows these days use CG robots because of how hard it is to show realistic movement of robots. And they like have the monopoly on animators who know that. So this is a weird time for
pretty
anime. We may
wild.
see new animators. Yeah, it's really weird to hear about this. If anyone's interested, go look this stuff up. Like you'll see more and more announcements about studios doing training programs, or there's one of my favorite Kyoto Animation. I think they're moving further away from the city and they're bringing animators with them and opening up spots for you to like move to their new animation group. It's interesting and a little concerning, but hopefully Titan comes back before I kill myself. So
Oh my
Yo,
god.
same.
I'm going to have to read this manga. This last week was so fucking hype, man. I can't imagine waiting another 2 years after seeing what happens on Saturday.
Damn.
Oh, man.
So you could read the manga. You could do that.
I'm going to read the manga. I can't wait anymore. So, the last point I want to bring up, just because this is one of my favorite series, Full Metal Panic, the 4th season, IV, Invisible Victory. It was announced last year as part of some, I think it was 15th anniversary of the series. They didn't give a release date. Originally fall. They took away that date. We don't know. But the author of the novel series that it comes from is going to be at Anime Expo in California. And unlike most North American anime conventions, Anime Expo companies will actually announce new projects there. So I'm really hoping we get an announcement when Invisible Victory is going to come out. Because I saw Full Metal Panic right at the end of high school. And the first season's like your typical 2004 high school anime kind of thing. Second season was really well done, and the third season blew my mind. I love this show. So I'm really excited to see it go on. I've read the books. It's going to be great.
Nice.
And that is the weeb shit.
All right, so since we're done with weeb, we will take our break, and when we return, our topic will be Chasing the Dragon.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's not drugs, kiddies, I promise.
And we're back. Our break is done, and we are ready to chase the topic.
Jeez.
Stop. You know what? Shutting it off.
Podcast over.
Podcast over. See you
Canceled.
next week.
Season 0 out of 5. 5 out of 7, Zed.
5 out. It's not perfect. It's more like a 2 out of 3. It was just no bueno.
So, Tyler, why are we here to chase the dragon?
Why are we here to chase the dragon? Because of memories, past good times, at least I don't remember where this phrase comes from, but I've heard it a lot in drug use. But I think of it, it's true though. It's a lot of people they're like, oh, I'm just chasing the dragon, man. I just want to have that first high again. What?
But do you mean as in you hear that in real life, or you hear movies say that?
Oh no, I hear it in real life. No, I do hear it in real life.
One of my friends uses the term chasing the green dragon to refer to smoking weed, so it's really confused when the topic came up for the podcast.
Well, first, who was it? Yeah, I heard it. The first time I ever heard it in mainstream media was South Park.
The South Park episode with Guitar Hero?
Yes, that's the first time I've heard of it, but I've heard of it long before that,
the heroin hero gag?
Yeah, well, because my dad would talk about it when heroin was kind of a first issue, right? And I would talk to other people about it, cops, and they would drop that term of chasing the dragon. They're trying to get their first high, and so I was thinking about that, when we were. I was thinking of topics. I was like, what could we think of? And then I was I started talking to someone about it. I was talking to Leslie or I think one of my coworkers about stuff I'm into. And I'm you know what I really like? I really love Fables, right? The comic series Fables that turned into that video game adaptation, Wolf Among Us. And that was the first comic series I ever got into. And I think it was each chapter I was into, I was holy cow, I just can't put this thing down. This is just great. And ever since then, I've been trying to find that series that's given me, that same pleasure as oh man, I'm reading a comic for the first time again. It's pretty great. And I was hey, that's kind of a good topic. On top of that, it also it reminds me a lot of kind of Tim mentioned it when we were talking about the topic, nostalgia, right? Maybe that's the same reason why we get so many remakes or movies that are
definitely
a lot of other movies. And that's actually the vibe I got from E3 as well.
100%.
I kind of got. It's just
isn't that what Nintendo lives on?
Yeah, you barely
no.
see any new IPs from Nintendo these days.
Well, but Tyler, what about Splatoon?
What about Splatoon's one of the new, or I couldn't
just don't even talk about it.
Oh,
what?
baby.
What about the
Mario,
Rabbids Mario
crossover?
game? That is XCOM.
Oh.
That is basically XCOM. Because holy
that
shit,
sounds
dude.
Great.
But that's what it is though. It's a lot of games or stuff that people want to try to get back into, right? It's but what if we put it out again? And then it's maybe. doesn't work sometimes.
I mean,
Actually, it doesn't work a lot of the times.
That was like 100% why. Like, I've seen a big split on people when they heard about the Shadow of the Colossus remake. Either you played the original and you love it, or you didn't play it and you're completely indifferent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because just seeing it doesn't really get you into it. It's that sense of, you've been there before and you remember how great it was the first time. Like, seeing the Colossus for the first time and chasing after it. Like, you want to remember that. You want to see it in HD. For everyone else, whatever. It's a game. Like, it's very subjective when it comes to these certain things, especially with remakes, is that a lot of people play a remake just because it looks good, and a lot of people play it just because of how much they remember the first one being great.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, that's what most remakes are banking on.
Yeah.
They're like, we can make the same money as the original plus more.
Yeah.
Which is, like, true in most cases. And on top of that, a lot of the games are, like, remakes that they put out. It's a lot easier than just come up with a new IP, because with a new IP, you're taking a gamble. On top of that, you gotta dig around with new game mechanics and stuff like that. But with, a sequel or a remaster, it's like, well, we already know everybody likes this IP, so we're just gonna throw some new stickers on it and pray it does really well.
I would almost split sequels and remasters for stuff like, Square Enix went through a phase a couple years where they did like Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts, and for that, it was very little actual like game development effort they had to put in. A lot of it was just texture updates, and the engine still held up. So with that, they were kind of banking on, hey, you want to literally just remember how good this game was and play it again, but slightly nicer. But then you go down the road of like Final Fantasy VII Remaster, where it's not that it's easy to make the game, but it's that you don't need to market it. People already have this certain like perceived notion of what your game's gonna be. You don't have to tell them what the game is. You don't have to sell them that it's gonna be good, because they're like, well, Final Fantasy VII originally was good. This one must be good as well. And it's that free association that you kind of just bank on money. And this is a lot of developers do bank on that. People want to chase the dragon, and for ones like Final Fantasy VII, it justifies doing this full effort remake.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've felt it plenty of times. I bought the Halo Master Chief Collection.
You're like, I just want that first time again, man. I just want to set foot on the Halo ring and just blow, like, Covenant away. But it's not. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not that way, though.
Sometimes it's not, and sometimes it is, and it's just weird.
Like, the Halo 2 remake, like, that was one of the first times, I think maybe even the only time, where I played a remake of a game, or, like, seen just even seen a remake of something, and I was just blown away.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I still wish I could play it. Tyler, I'm moving, so we don't get to do that Let's Play.
The game, that one's so good.
You do a Skype Let's Play.
It doesn't work.
Freeman, the whole point is that we wanted to record it in person because the online.
Oh yeah,
is
you
just
guys were telling me about this.
Yeah, the online is. Man, they had. That's why it died. The online was something happened, and they didn't even like explain why that was busted. But like everybody was feeling it though. Everybody was feeling that hype. Everybody.
It's okay. When you guys all when you Leslie, Freeman, and Luigi all take a week off work and just come hang out in Ohio, then we'll get it done.
Yeah, right. If only I could just take.
I mean, if not.
Time?
I mean, listen. If not with all four of you, Leslie's gonna make you come out there at least once. So.
Yeah.
She'll be like, Tyler, I want to go see Tim and Val in Ohio, but I don't want to drive there myself. Come with me.
Yeah, right. I mean, which is fine. I'd have no problem making that drive to hang out with you guys.
Honestly, so having now done the drive there and back all by myself, because God forbid, girls stay awake in the car.
Oh no.
Not all women, just the two I was driving with. It's really not that bad. It's just a lot of time on 80 through PA.
Oh, yeah.
And even when you get into Ohio, actually near the town, it's not that bad. The worst of it is honestly just getting through the Delaware Water Gap and those first few miles past there where it's kind of busy, and then you're in the clear.
Really?
Yeah, it's honestly, having done long drives before but not been driving the car the whole time, it's really not that bad actually.
So is that an experience that you'd like to relive?
Not like to. I mean, I don't like.
In relation to the topic,
Yeah, I'm like, I was waiting for that transition.
Shit,
back.
no, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take us off topic again, but
Nah, it's fine. That's interesting though. Yeah.
well, but it is the kind of thing where I've been thinking about this kind of thing because like we're leaving, so you get to think back on like first time things, and
Like the first time I met you guys, I'm like, man, who are these faggots?
yep,
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay. What was it? I didn't meet you until the end of the summer last year, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
No, that was when we met. It was like the first day of the D&D campaign.
First
we're doing now, I
day,
think.
Fable campaign, met Freeman. Before that,
But even me, Val, and Luigi met you last year before Leslie went to New York, but we didn't talk to you much over the summer.
yeah, we didn't
'Cause
like
Leslie had-
connect.
Well, Leslie had it was kind of like Val with this coworker of hers where you had been introduced like 3 times to us,
Yeah.
and then Leslie left, and it's like, we're not really that close to Tyler yet.
Yeah, no, which is understandable, and we didn't do anything which caused us to like talk either. I was just there for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it was like, hey,
And
we're
that
watching
was
Game
it.
of Thrones at Leslie's
Oh,
house.
you
with
were
this
just like
other
a
guy,
watch
Tyler.
buddy. Okay, so that explains
Yeah,
it.
I was literally
Yeah.
just a watch buddy.
But now, like in the D&D campaign, and we're doing the podcast together, and
It's too much interconnectivity. It's almost like we're real friends now.
it's so.
I can't. All right, well, screw the topic. We're just gonna talk about how we feel.
I'm waiting for
Can't
my
do
big
this.
moment in this topic. It's gonna be great.
I'm waiting. Too bad. Replaced with tears, man. Just tears.
Oh my!
No
God.
memories, only tears.
Chasing the dragon isn't always fun.
It's not always fun. Sometimes it's just
But-
painful.
But the time you look back the most is when you're about to move on.
There's too much vomit. I can't clean it up.
Too sweaty.
It's ever too sweaty. Too sweaty, dude. Leslie, 2017.
I want to come up. I think for my going away present, I'm gonna be like, Leslie, could you do me a favor? Can you draw like one of those meme pictures, except it's Tyler playing the train game and looking at the board, and then the second frame is just Tyler's face with sweat all over it. It says "too sweaty," and
Too
that's it.
sweaty. Too sweaty. Yo, I love that
And that-
game.
And I'll just like get
Too
that
sweaty.
framed and give that to you before I leave. Be like, here,
my
Tyler, forever too sweaty.
Forever too sweaty.
We
This
gotta
is where
play
the
some more
meme was
time. I love
born.
this game.
Was it? No, it was Leslie. Leslie's the one who became sweaty all the time.
So Tyler, going
She's
back
always
to the
sweaty.
first time you were too sweaty, by the way.
Yeah, but actually though, first time was that train game though. I felt it. Actually felt it.
But yeah, chasing the dragon.
Yeah, chasing the dragon. See, I want that first time again.
So I got a good example of a good example of Chasing the Dragon and a bad example, and they're both within the exact same series. So Tyler, I know you play Pokemon, but did you play Pokemon Black and White?
I did.
So when it came out, I remember hearing there was a lot of controversy because all 150 Pokemon in Black and White 1 were new Pokemon. And a lot of people really butthurt when they announced that. It's like, oh man, all my favorites aren't in there. And I started playing it, and I couldn't figure out why, but like this was the first time playing a Pokemon game since, like, I don't know, maybe Gold and Silver had a lot of originals in the first couple of those. This is the first time since Red and Blue where I felt like I was playing Red and Blue again. Like I didn't know who any of the Pokemon were. I jump into it going, oh man, I have no fucking clue what's gonna be here, and I'm not gonna know. I'm gonna run up to one and be like, what the fuck is that thing?
Oh,
And that's-
clearly I got the best drop first, and then 5 minutes later, you're like, fuck, that was just the Caterpie.
Yeah,
That was
right.
literally the cat. That was
I had
just
no
the
way of
Bidoof,
knowing.
man.
Damn it, I didn't want to catch the Rattata so quickly.
Right, but that's what Black and White was. It felt like this sense of mystery and discovery, which for me, Red and Blue was. I went in not knowing who the Pokemon were. I picked Bulbasaur and then like only played him and over-leveled him, and I was like, fuck this, let's start over, let's do it with Squirtle. And that was my first time playing Pokemon, was being, oh
Dude,
shit, I
Onyx
gotta...
is so hard to kill. I gotta get Squirtle.
Well, no, it was I over-leveled him and he stopped listening to me. So,
Damn.
so I'm like,
Wow.
maybe I need to catch more than one Pokemon, and that was that started the rest of my life. But
I can have 6 Pokemon in a team? This is so hard to manage.
stop making fun of me. I was like 8.
Freeman, I played the game in 8 too.
Anyway,
I-
the point of
Freeman,
bringing
I
this up.
distinctly remember. Hold on. I distinctly remember in 4th or 5th grade.
Oh, I was the kid with the link cable at school.
Having reading time, and by reading time, it was I sat in a corner with my back to the class with my Game Boy in my lap on top of a book and Freeman, you remember Mark S? I don't want to say his last name.
I know who you're talking about.
He would watch over my shoulder sometimes and almost got me caught a bunch of times because like, get the fuck out of here! I'm trying to play Pokemon.
Fucking what a narc, Mark S. If you're listening, you're a narc.
Oh, he's not. I haven't spoken to him.
No. I don't know.
Jeez, I wasn't even friends with him in high school. I wasn't even friends with him ever, really. I just knew who he was.
Hey man, you never know who's listening to these things. I'm looking at you, government, Uncle Sam.
Illuminati.
We
know you're listening.
We know you're listening with your triangle in your eyes and your
listening with your eyes.
Your Templar shit.
Anyways, so the reason I brought up Pokemon is because despite the negative feedback, I really liked the way Black and White made me go back to like that first high, the chasing the Dragonite. So
yeah.
But then last fall, or especially even starting when X and Y came out, Pokemon was like, yo, we got to get everyone who loved Red and Blue back in these games. So they started pushing stuff like the Mega Evolutions for the classic Pokemon, or like giving you the Red and Blue starters in X and Y. And it was okay. As a fan of the series, it was really cool because the game stood on its own, but it did have little bits like, hey, Pikachu's in the first route. Hey, you can get a Squirtle too. But then Sun and Moon comes out, and Game Freak is like, oh man, all these people love Gen 1. We gotta suck their dick or they're not gonna play this game. And that's what happened. This game was just like, there were 350, 400 Pokemon in the game, and more than half, or I think like 120 of them were from Red and Blue.
I was going to say, that's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible. I was saying one. The point is, a lot of them you couldn't get to the end game. But the thing was, there were so many Red and Blue Pokemon. Like, the first island, you're drowning in them. Growlithe, Slowpoke, Caterpie, all of them, Pikachu, Snorlax, all in the first island. Beginning of the game, it's just like, I was struggling to find new Pokemon at the beginning of that game because they didn't give a shit. They were like, here, look at all these Pokemon from 1996, 1998. And
now that you mention it, I didn't really think about that.
The casual fans ate this shit up. They're like, oh man, it's like Red and Blue for the first time. But as someone who's played a game that made me feel like I was playing Red and Blue for the first time, this was not it. This was not the dragon I was chasing. Like, it was very blatantly obvious they were trying to get me to feel that way, but I wasn't having any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's an example of how chasing the dragon can be bad. And I know you guys probably have a lot of good examples of why, like, some remakes or remasters just absolutely butcher.
Just gonna lob that ball out there for one of us to catch.
Yeah, because we're going off topic, so I'm like, let's throw the hard ball. Who wants to talk about like a time a remake or a remaster just didn't capture the magic? And this doesn't have to be games. This can be movies. Right. Because I know they do that a lot.
What do you got, Tim?
You wanna? Wait a second.
I know exactly what you're going to say, and
Freeman,
I'm ready
you
for
said this on purpose. You set me up with this movies thing.
I baited the living shit out of you.
Shit.
Oh,
man, the ball was actually for Tim this whole time.
The ball,
fuck, dude.
in the anime, Freeman throws the ball up in the air, and just as I'm about to catch it, it glints in the sun, and there's a big 7 written on the side.
I knew it.
In actuality, I said it, and then I'm like, wait a minute. What if we spin it? And I'm like, oh, what about movies? And then I knew what I was doing.
Oh man.
So fine. We'll touch on the subject and then we'll go back to it in a real topic later.
Yeah.
But Star Wars.
Yes.
That's funny because we're on the opposite side of the fence for this one.
But see, I don't even know if this counts because for me, Star Wars was cool movies that I really loved, and it's funny because I haven't actually seen the Star Wars movies that many times, but I still know them super well. I still know like a lot of the lines and stuff. But for me, Star Wars actually isn't so much about the movies. It was so much more about the books because I started reading them in middle school. And then the books and the video games and it all being tied together in this big universe. It honestly turned into so much more than the movies were for me. 7 is my big, like, dragon I wish I could kill. Because, not so much because of what it did to the movies as what it did to... Basically, when LucasArts announced that they were killing the expanded universe, that was like the coffin. And then the nail in the coffin is Episode 7, which just completely demolishes all of that. And is like, nah.
I get it.
This is way worse, but this is where we're going.
Damn.
And I will still say that 7 is objectively a bad movie. Not bad in the sense that it's like Obviously, there's tiers of bad.
Would you say it's a bad Star Wars movie or it's a bad movie?
I would say it's worse than at least one prequel movie.
But would you say it's objectively a bad movie? Like, take out Star Wars. Was it just a bad movie is my question.
No.
All right, good.
It is a very bad Star Wars movie.
Okay.
Okay.
It is not a bad movie.
All right,
But
I just
it's
wanted to get that
so
point.
wrapped in Star Wars, it's almost impossible to...
Right.
Honestly, if it wasn't a Star Wars movie and you made that movie, it would be called an incredibly derivative Star Wars ripoff.
That is 100% true.
Yeah. And like, that's what they definitely tried to do, though. They tried to do that same shit that Sun and Moon tried to do. It's like, yo, listen. We're going to add literally
But then it got eaten
shot
up, just
for
like
shot.
Sun and Moon apparently did.
Yeah.
So there's where it does line up with Freeman's Day.
Yeah. That's not that exactly. That's literally what they were trying to do. Like, yo, all these motherfuckers wanted to want that episode 4, 5, and 6. Well, we're going to give it to them. We're going to give them a New
5,
Hope.
and 6 version 2, here you go.
Yeah,
Here's
you
Han
want
and
New
Leia
Hope
and Luke, and
V2?
they're going to be the random old people you don't know the names of. Well, this time, instead of General Dodonna, we got Leia, and then we don't got Yoda, we got Luke. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Oh, we need that. I'm not trying to be sexist, but it's like, hey, strong female leads are hot right now. Let's put that in there.
It's
Let's put that Rey in there. She's pretty... I don't even dislike Rey, but my God, is she so Mary Sued to high heavens. Like,
Gotta give her another movie to redeem herself. Come on.
no, you don't. No, you
Yes,
don't.
do.
Why?
I would not. All right, look. So Obi-Wan Kenobi in Episode 1 is not that great of a character, but I gave him a chance to redeem himself in the prequel trilogy, and by 3, he was a great character. 2, he's
That
okay.
doesn't count at all.
That 100% counts. Basic character off one
But
movie in a trilogy.
Freeman, it's not a question of the character. It's a question of... But Obi-Wan couldn't do everything. He was still a learner. Qui-Gon told him, don't fight Maul because you're going to get destroyed. And then the only reason he beat Maul was because he got angry over his master dying. Rey doesn't have some big obstacle that she can't overcome. Rey overcomes everything because, of course, she can overcome everything. Oh, I've never seen a ship control in my life, but I've flown, all these speeders.
Yeah,
so
but
the
she
Millennium
controls
Falcon
the
is
Falcon.
nothing.
Yeah, that is.
Wait a minute, hold on. I thought in the movie she
Oh, I
said
can
she
do this
piloted
sick
before.
move where I fly through a crashed Star Destroyer and then do this sick inverted dive, lining up a perfect shot for Finn. Please calm down a little bit, movie. Come on, okay, we get
Calm
it. Rey's
down
cool.
a
You
little
don't,
bit, movie.
you don't have to keep pushing Rey this hard.
I mean, could the same
But
thing
Luke got
happen
just
with
as
Luke
lucky in 4.
when he was
What
just
did
like,
what problem
I
other
shot
than him not being home when his uncle and aunt got killed? Other
Freeman,
than that, what happened to him?
flying? Okay, we establish that he flew skyhoppers, which are not speeders, which is what Rey drives. Rey's little speeder thing is definitely not the same as learning to fly a thing that can go in 3 dimensions.
Okay.
That's like saying
you
Luke
can drive a car,
from
but you
his-
can't drive a plane, though.
Luke is like saying, I have my amateur pilot's license, so I can kind of understand the concept of maybe a fighter jet. Maybe. That's close. Rey is like saying, I can drive a car, and now I can fly a jetliner. Like, that's the level of difference we're going through. But she just does it perfectly. And Luke didn't fly perfectly. He only got saved because other people died for him. Rey didn't have someone else, take the shot that was meant for her. Han dies, but that's not because he's... Wedge is right there, and Wedge almost dies, and another guy, I forget the other guy, but he dies because they're shielding Luke. Luke's not, doing sick flips around Vader, popping off and showing off how cool he is in Episode 4. He's like, no, he only made it because Wedge was there being literally just a body block for him.
And, he was the best
Boom.
qualified to take the shot because, he shot Wamper after this T-16 back home.
God damn it.
Not even wrong! Those things aren't even big.
I just, I think it's funny. I always think of that. I forget what skit it was. Was it a Family Guy skit? Where it's he says that, and then the one guy, pulls him off to the side. He's like, hey, listen, man.
It's like, hey,
Why'd you have to blow up my spot like that? You could have just kept
It might be
down
a
and
Robot
told
Chicken
me.
sketch.
Yeah, I
don't
think it
know.
might have been a Robot Chicken skit.
There's so many sketches of it. It's somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, like.
We don't need. This can be a whole topic.
Yeah.
We should not waste this.
But it's good to bring up, though. I think it's good to bring up.
It's good of Freeman. It's good of Freeman to take that softball and like kind of do the underhanded toss. And then
look,
at the
I was
last second, he
honestly
just
hoping
whips
there
his
were
arm
other
back and
movies other
throws
than
it at
Star
my
Wars
face.
you were going to talk about, but
What the
I
fuck?
honestly
What else do you
really
think
wasn't
there was
thinking.
gonna be?
literally any other movie because I knew we weren't going to do this as a
no.
topic.
Absolutely not. There's only
Wait, what
one
else
movie
did-
for Tim.
What else did? Well, okay, hold on. What
Like
else
any
could
of the
there be?
Spider-Man remakes.
I don't care. But
Stop.
Freeman, come on, I don't care about those.
Yeah, you don't
I
care,
didn't even-
but did you like Spider-Man 1, the original one?
I thought it was okay. I've never liked Spider-Man, and I didn't watch the Andrew Garfield ones.
Yeah, I highly miscalculated how this question was going to play
You
out.
really
Yeah.
apparently did.
Because
I
was just talking
immediately
about
thought
Spider-Man.
Star Wars. I immediately thought Star Wars.
I didn't think it through.
What
There.
the hell?
Tyler, I could tell because I reacted, and I was like, And Tyler immediately started popping off, getting where I was headed with it.
I knew. I was like, there's only one movie that he's going to talk about. There's only one.
All right, Tyler, you answer the question because
Okay.
I've already spiked the ball into the ground so hard we can't get it back. So
I'll try
take
to
it back up.
I'll try to yank it back up. Oh man, how do I feel? This almost kind of goes full circle with some of these, like those '80s movies. Actually, like are those '80s shows that turn into comedy shows today?
Full House.
You know, Full House is a good
I have
one.
not watched
Full
Full
House
House
was a
or
comedy.
Fuller House
Fuller
regularly,
House.
but that seems like a perfect example of chasing the dragon.
Dude, yeah, because some of these shows do it, some of these movies do it, where they're like, oh, let's try and get our core audience back again. Shit, you know what? For these last 2 years, it's been nothing but like, yo, let's get these '90s kids back on a nostalgia kick, so we can
Oh
just
my
take their
fucking god,
money.
like the Power Rangers movie,
The-
shit like that.
Oh,
yes, exactly.
No.
though.
Here's a great one that's kind of more nerdy and niche, and I can weigh in because I saw both, but I don't have the same chasing the dragon feel. Is Firefly and Serenity
Okay.
because Val
deal with
showed
that?
me the show and the movie immediately, so I know about them. But I was not one of those people like her who loved the show and then waited those years for the movie to come back, and then were like, this movie's not that good though.
Yeah, that
That's
was
the impression I get.
I mean, you kind of had to be there during the hype. It's one
Yeah.
of those things.
I'm sure, but that's what I mean. That's why I'm saying it so you guys can talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen either of them, but like, there's
Oh.
a
I've
lot of
seen-
situations
I've
like that where
seen
if you weren't there at the time, you just don't get it. Like, I'll say this right now: I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers when I was a kid. My parents thought it was too violent, but DBZ was a-okay. But so
What?
like, like it's just cartoons. It's not real people.
Jesus.
I
that
know. That's the only thing
logic.
is. But with Power Rangers, I didn't watch it when it was coming out when we were kids. So like going back and watching it now, it's very cheesy. But when you were a kid, you didn't give a shit. You gave in to the hype that we talked about 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
It's all coming full circle, man. It's all coming full circle.
Yeah.
Circle
but,
is now complete.
Yep.
Yeah, you did
But
it.
yeah, it
Freeman.
was one of those. If you weren't there at the time, you don't get it. And a lot of these shows will pick up on that. Let's capture the hype at the time, try and get it up to date, and that's kind of what Power Rangers is trying to do. And it's sort of why I'm fairly certain I won't ever get into like maybe
what
I'll
the
like
movie
Firefly, but I won't
did.
get that hype for Serenity.
That's what the movie did, though. Like, the Power Rangers movie, though. That's what it did. It literally keyed in even the really cheesy, like, shit. Right? Like the Rita saying, "Make my monsters grow." I was like, holy fuck. And the thing was, dude, and it's like just as you described, because guaranteed, everyone in the theater with me, they were roaring at these fucking
Yeah.
lines. And I'm like, they had to have watched the show when they were kids. There's literally no other way that they would have gotten all these jokes at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they literally, like, Saban was like, yeah, we're really gonna fucking do this. We're gonna make it all cheesy as shit.
Here's the other thing, though. You can totally understand why a company does this. Because if people demonstrate that there's desire for this, it's like, why, we need to make money. Why would we go try something new when there's clearly still a demand that can be met? Now, a lot of them don't know when to stop
Yeah.
for the burnout, but there is definitely that area where you can make a lot of money off of throwbacks. I mean, look at how many things...
The NES
even for
Classic.
chasing Yeah.
That
And that thing,
fucking
you
thing.
can't
Oh
even
my
buy that
fucking
thing.
god, the NES
Nope.
Classic.
Nope, you can't.
Like,
Even
That's
though
like
I
the
tell
perfect
everybody,
example.
so for anyone who actually really gave a shit about these games, they were so easy to play everywhere. Like, this was literally the
emulate.
product marketed. Well, no, like even on like
you can buy all those
like
games
a
on the
ton of
virtual
these games
console.
were on the Nintendo eStore. Like you could
Yeah.
buy them legally from Nintendo. This wasn't like a new thing to play
Oh, I
half
know
of
what you
these.
mean. Okay.
So if you
Yeah.
really wanted them, you could have been playing them anytime. But this was 100%. Oh man, look at this NES I used to have. I need one now because I used to have one. That was 100% cashing in on nostalgia, and
Yep.
it worked way better than they thought it would.
Yeah.
Fucked up part is they won't even sell anymore. I think it's kind of fucked up
stupid.
personally, but everybody's like, "No, Tyler, like it makes a lot of sense because they could just make room for like the next one." I'm like, "Yeah, but like I feel like that's just kind of fucked up. Like, how are you just gonna dangle this carrot in front of everybody?"
Well, Nintendo's doing we're going to undersell to sell them all.
Yeah,
Versus, we don't want to have any of these things left, so we want to make sure they're all gone.
I hate that shit though. Like they do
I mean, I
it
heard one of
literally
the
with
BS
every console they have, and it's bullshit.
There was a BS rumor going around that their original plan was to convert whatever facility was producing them to make Switches for the holiday rush this year. I don't know if there's any truth to that statement, but
That
it would make
seems
a lot of sense
difficult.
that it was already on their
Yeah.
plan. Like, we're not going to set up another facility because we're already reusing whatever facility we were using to produce the NES Classic to do Switches. Like, that would make sense, but it doesn't quite add up because, it's not that simple.
But
It's
was the
not.
Switch sold out everywhere this winter?
Yes.
The Switch is still
It's still
sold out.
Is it really?
You
Still.
can't
Wow.
find them anywhere.
Well,
Oh, wow,
actually,
goodness.
there was a brief time where GameStop was selling bundles, brief, as in like a week or two, and then those were sold out.
Huh.
Yes.
Wow. I'm kind of
Like, they do actually need to increase production because they still can't keep up and they haven't hit. Like, it's not the holiday season yet.
Or their production is exactly where they want it to be.
That's bullshit. I'm getting tired of
See?
Nintendo and their
But it's
like
true,
artificial
though. It lines
limited
up
availability.
It lines up with literally everything they've
Lines
ever
up with
done.
everything Nintendo does.
For everything.
there was this-
they do
there
it
was
on
this-
purpose.
there was-
because there's marketing in exclusivity. It's like, oh hey, there's not enough of these things, but I want one. I want one because no one else can fucking get them. And that's what
There was
Nintendo
this
does because they're fucking
video
evil. They're actually
YouTube.
EA.
I don't
Boom,
know what
I
this
said it.
guy's name was, but he had a video called "Nintendo Let Me Give You My Money," and he took out, I think it was $800, and he started listing off games that Nintendo did not want to bring over to the United States because like, oh, it might not sell. One of those was Monster Hunter, which is now incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Nintendo is bad, and they don't know how to read their customers. So they do shit like limited availability because they're like, oh, if no one can have it, and no one would have wanted it, now people will want it. And it's these dumbass formulas they come up with
and
to
yet,
piss me off.
Nintendo has
fucking
been
works.
around for like 25 years.
With
That's
the
the worst
same
part.
goddamn IPs.
And they
They're
always
never
do
gonna
it.
change.
Business
They
practices
still only
work.
sell a few IPs. They occasionally make a new one, and they just keep making money.
Yeah, the only thing that changes
I'm mad.
is their
They are
weird
more
console
successful
ideas.
than any of us ever will. Yeah, there's always and that's all they need
That is literally all they need. Their IPs will keep them afloat forever.
because they're not playing in the same space as everybody else because it's indirect competition.
Yo, someone
You
said
can have
this.
a Switch and an Xbox, or you can have a Switch and a PS4. But either way, you're having a Switch.
Yeah, I can't remember who said this though. It was someone from Nintendo.
I'm so mad
But like,
right now.
they asked them about. Someone asked this person about like, well, why doesn't Nintendo put out like many new IPs? And they just straight up told them, no one wants new IPs. No one wants anything.
You know what
new.
he should
They
have
want
said?
the old
How about our
shit.
next Mario game not be one of the top sellers?
Yeah, right.
Then we'll think about it.
Then we'll think that the day Super Mario,
Stops being so good, then
They'll-
then we'll do it.
they're like,
I mean,
all
I'm
right,
gonna be
we're gonna
real
chance
here.
it with another Mad World or some bullshit.
Like, when the Switch came out, I said to myself, well, hold on. When's the next Smash Bros. Coming out? Because that's when I'm getting it. And I'm like, it all it takes is one game that you want to play. And I guarantee there's a Nintendo series for everyone. Like, I may personally not like Zelda, but there are so many Nintendo games where I'm like, I would buy a console just to play that game. And that's,
Honestly, I don't
that's
really
what they
like
do.
any of the Nintendo things, but if I had the chance to try Zelda, maybe I would
I
like it.
fucking love Zelda. I have a
looks
tattoo
nice.
for a reason, man.
I was going to partially
I
bring
was
up
there when you
Zelda
bought
with the
that
Chase
notebook
the Dragon idea.
at
Yeah.
what's its face last year.
Yeah, man, that was, man. I like you don't understand though. Like the craving for me to buy this Switch, but it's literally, I literally can't justify this
It's
purchase
just
right now.
Zelda. And they're already selling out, and that's how many people. That's not counting the people who are holding out because they can convince themselves. These are all the weak-willed people who are like, I can buy it for just Zelda. It's fine.
But they got Mario Kart 8 again.
See, another fucking franchise. God damn it.
It's not even a new release. It's the same one as the last time.
Yeah.
But, like, with DLC included.
Yeah, I see, but like I have to. Like I've learned over the years as a person buying these games for so long that like I've just learned like you have to wait sometimes. Like you just have to, or else it's gonna be a dead console. Like I beat Zelda, right? Like the day I beat Zelda, it's like okay, well now my Switch is a paperweight until like I decide to buy. Yeah, it's gonna be dusty until what the fuck is coming out? What were we talking about? Like fucking like Mario. Or like whatever the main Pokemon, the core Pokemon game, Smash.
Monster Hunter.
Maybe I might give Monster Hunter this time around. I played it when it was on the PSP. Wasn't a big fan of it. But you know, like
I get why people like it. It's not my personal favorite, but it is like a quality series.
Yeah, you know, like and there's now more reasons. Like I said before, E3 only just kind of confirmed like, okay, I'm definitely getting a Switch.
Someday.
It's just a matter of when.
Point. Yeah, exactly. So like, and that makes me comfortable. And obviously, one of the first games I'm gonna buy is Zelda.
What if they stop producing? What if they slow down Switch production before
Get
the new
fuck
Mario
out
comes
of here.
out, so that
Get
they can make sure
out
they
of
sell
here.
out, so
This
that
is
they
some
can
Illuminati
make sure
shit.
they sell
That is
out.
literally some Illuminati shit. But you know what I should do?
But it could.
I
Totally
should
be
capitalize.
true.
You guys should do it too. And you know what? I should
Buy a bunch of
I'm not
Switches.
scalping these. That's a
no.
shitty thing to
I'm
do.
talking about like the next time Nintendo or someone. I know Sega Genesis, like the Sega's doing this right now. But next time they sell like their new like retro console, just pitch to like your friends and family or like just random people on the street. It's like, yo, I can make you a retro pie for slightly more money, but you get all these things for it.
No, I'd rather get the one from Nintendo.
That's what everybody wants to say, but it's like, but listen, this is better.
But Tyler, it has that official Nintendo stamp.
Fuck
and
out of
it
here
looks
with that
like,
Nintendo
Tyler,
official stamp.
Tyler, it looks like an NES.
Yeah, so I can make this one look like you have a 3D printer, Tim.
Tyler, but it,
You can easily make one. You can
but
easily.
It came out of a Nintendo factory, Tyler.
I'm not
and
gonna
you
touch
can't
that
do
topic
that.
with a 10-foot pole.
What do you mean?
No. This is where I was just gonna pull out just to summarize it. Well, this is American made in America.
That's not what I don't even mean that. I
know you don't
this
mean
is-
that, but I'm saying I can
Oh,
take it to a whole dark place. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying it's that Nintendo.
But it's that Nintendo. So, would you
Nintendo
rather play 30
approved this.
games or like 1,000 games on a bunch of different consoles?
Tyler, here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
We're at the age where we're now nerds supporting ourselves, and we are the ones who buy our things.
I know.
But
I know.
the up and coming nerds, little nerd babies who are still in school, still have mom and dad go shopping for them. They walk into a store and they see, oh look, I played with an NES. My child.
Oh, little Jimmy's gonna love this one.
Little
Can
Jimmy's gonna
play
love this one.
The best NES games on their TV, and I'll know what they're playing because this doesn't have internet access and they can't get this online to
There's no
download
bloody
games I don't want
violence.
them to play. This is why would I worry about them breaking the parental lock on their console or their phone when they could just play NES games?
No,
that
fuck
Nintendo
that, Tim.
picked?
You're missing one crucial detail about the new kids' generation. They're fucking shallow as shit when it comes to video games. They don't want to play that 8-bit shit.
But they're also hipster douchebags.
No, they're not.
No,
like a
no,
small
that's our
fraction.
generation.
That's our generation. We are
That's not the
hipster
kids.
douchebags.
No,
They
they
couldn't care
still
less.
exist.
No, they don't, Tim. They don't.
There's a reason Apple is still a big company. They're
These
still
kids
doing it.
don't know how to use computers.
We just
I
talked
guarantee
about
you.
this.
Yeah,
I
exactly. They don't
guarantee
know.
you they're-
Okay, then from that angle, they don't know how to make their own Raspberry Pi thing, and they're going to
I'm
be
saying,
like,
we
"Oh,
make
mom,
'em."
give me my $50 because I hate you and I want to go buy
I'm trying to
this
play
NES thing."
These kids are like, yo, I'm trying to play this Five Nights at Freddy's. Like that's what they're trying
What
to do.
my
retro is cool?
Not to these kids.
Not to them.
Not to the kids that I know.
Not as it is for us.
They're like, yo, I'm trying to play that Call of Duty. I'm trying to 360 no scope faggots, lol. Or they play really shitty games like Roblox.
That can't be true because Call of Duty sales are doing worse.
Like Roblox. Yeah, no, these kids will play Roblox though. Have you heard of Roblox, Tim?
I have no idea what
Minecraft
this
is still a game
And Minecraft. Minecraft
Minecraft
also
is
in
bigger
exists.
than-
4K,
There-
which by the way announced at E3.
Also, the
How do you
cross-platform
even-
stuff.
But how do you even
No, 'cause there's a
do
graphics update.
Minecraft before?
Graphics.
But like, what's the?
Like I want
It's
my
blocks,
pixels to
man.
be high def.
It's just blocks.
Tyler,
I don't
want
want to see the edge of the block.
Fuck out of here with that shit.
That line's got to be so razor straight.
Like,
I cut myself on
It's
the
like,
screen.
yo, I can either get Doom in 4K, or better yet, Minecraft 4K. Like, what? This is what
That's the
kids
thing,
are playing.
It sells. It
Tyler,
sells.
kids may be
'cause this is
dumb
what
as
they
rocks
want.
these days, but they can play and download the crap out of Minecraft stuff.
Oh,
And they
Oh.
just go watch things on YouTube when they don't know how to do it.
But they're also part of this share culture. Everything's about like grab new games, do let's plays on YouTube. Like
Yep.
I don't know how many people are going to go and do a let's play of like Castlevania, the original.
easy. You
Well,
download
not
it
when
on the
Nintendo's
PlayStation
YouTube
Store.
policies are so crap.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah, obviously.
holy
I forgot
hell,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, can't.
You know what's amazing even more? In spite of how apparently Nintendo doesn't get how this stuff should work, they're still killing it.
Because the dragon. Because you
'Cause the
always want to
dragon
remember
exists.
how
And
good.
then I
the-
brought it all the way
all the
back
way
to
back.
the topic.
All the way
because
back.
that first time you played one of these franchises, and it doesn't have to be the first time, it's just your first time playing that franchise. Like, when I started playing 3D Marios, I didn't play Mario 64. I jumped in at Sunshine. So I always compare them against that, and, Nintendo's pretty good with the Mario franchise. All the 3D ones have been consistently better. But, like, you go for Zelda, my first Zelda wasn't until Twilight Princess. And most people I know compare every Zelda that came out to Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask.
Yep.
But they consistently try to make it in such a way that you can compare it to whatever one you first played and still experience at least some of that magic. I know Twilight Princess is kind of like the oddball out because it's a little bit darker than the other games. But point is, like, even with Pokemon, like, if you jump, like, a lot of people jumped in at Ruby and Sapphire, and they were kind of this, I don't want to call them the silent majority because they wouldn't shut up online when Ruby and Sapphire got its remake announced. But, like, they'll always include some Pokemon from each generation because you'll go and you're like, oh shit, that was from when I started playing. And there's a huge generation right now that started on Diamond and Pearl. So there's a lot of crying out loud right now they want a remake of that because a lot of people, you always think back to what your first one was. And because Nintendo doesn't always have these new IPs, and they're usually like, it's always small developments on the same core concept of a game that everyone gets excited every time they hear these announcements.
Did they do remakes of Ruby and Sapphire?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, for 3DS.
Yeah.
They were really good.
Alpha.
Oh, you know what? I keep thinking of that, but I keep thinking, Nintendo, just do a remake of a third game. I'll buy any third game in a remake.
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it was basically Crystal. Like, they took all the stuff from Crystal and put it into those versions.
I don't even care if it was content identical. Make my third game remake. Like Emerald, you can't say that about Emerald. I know Ruby and Sapphire have different stories. Are you going to overwrite both stories for the Emerald story?
The problem is the Emerald story wasn't as good. There, I said it.
But you
Blat.
could catch all three, which is the only one I played, which is the only one I care about because I'm a third gamer.
I mean, you can capture all
Too
three
bad, Tim.
in, like,
They're not giving it
other
to you.
games other than Ruby and Sapphire.
We talked about this at some point. They're literally ixnaying the third games altogether.
I know, but it's stupid.
Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun.
Yeah, they're ixnaying that shit. It's over. That third game is over. I miss it too, though.
They
I miss
almost
those
had
third
it. They
games, too.
almost did Pokemon Z, which we discussed in another
Yeah.
episode about how,
Yeah.
like, they
Well-
slapped all the shit from Z into Sun and Moon.
So stupid.
They're like, someone was like, but remember Black and White 2? And they're like, holy fuck, that's right. Fuck Z.
They're like,
We
oh,
got to. Why
No,
have
they
a
were like-
path that intersects and separates over and over again when we could just have two parallel paths that keep earning money?
Holy fuck. I forgot. Shit, guys, I forgot. We're Nintendo.
We're gonna train it out of them. They'll never wait for a third game again.
Yo, just
Should we
like...
make Should we let
just
Zygarde
like...
carry a game, or just let Gen 1ers eat the shit out of Sun and Moon? And of course, they let
It's so
the Gen
funny
1ers
how
win.
Pokemon is still powered by Gen 1
I
players.
fucking hate it. Gen 1 is not as good as everyone remembers.
It's certainly not, but you know why? I'll tell you why. Charmander.
Fuck out of here with Charmander.
Get
Like,
the
he's
fuck
all-
out of here.
It's
Squirtle.
all Charmander.
He's cool, but he's like
Freeman, you guys are free to say that, but every time a website does the popularity vote, every time over
Charizard's
half the
always
vote
number one.
is
That's
Charmander or
bullshit.
Charizard.
thing is
Him
though.
and Mewtwo are the only two that got like double mega evolutions,
Yeah,
which was bullshit.
yeah. Thing is though,
Pandering, Gen 1.
people don't even remember
Bringing it around.
that like Charmander's not even good. He's not even good in those games. Not even Charizard. He's not good. Now, if he turned into a
It's so-
dragon, a fire dragon, he'd be busted. But that was
But-
before.
Which is why his mega's a little better. But like, I remember getting to competitive and being like, "Oh shit, Charizard is complete ass in this game."
He
And then
is.
everyone
he is overall
in the
not
universe
good.
tried to make him work online. And anytime I saw Charizard, I'm like, "Sweet, free win." 'Cause
What he
But-
is. He sucks.
But he was the coolest of the original
he
three
was the
evolutions.
coolest. But
And in the anime, Charizard was the real hero.
Charizard caused Ash to lose the Pokemon League.
yes.
But then he threw Magmar into a volcano before that.
That
So
doesn't
it's-
matter. Ash lost because Charizard is an asshole.
Yeah,
'cause he was
but it
literally
doesn't
an
matter
asshole.
because when we were kids, we all rooted for the jerk.
not
we
even
were
close.
like,
that.
I didn't
no,
like
I didn't
Charizard.
want Richie to win. I wanted Ash to win, and Charizard ruined his hopes and dreams.
Yeah, but it's character growth, man.
It was bullshit.
It was bullshit. I agree with Freeman.
I'm
I don't know,
butthurt
I'm
about
just-
this.
Look, it's Charizard, okay? Everyone always votes for Charizard.
Everyone
I'm just
does
trying to
vote for
explain.
Charizard
My
for the wrong
soul-
reasons.
Was crushed watching Ash lose at the end of season 1. That's the first time I watched like a show or an anime where the main character loses in the end. And then
Oh,
they
poor
made a
baby-
tradition out of
poor
this
baby
where Ash
Ash, not you,
loses
poor baby
every
Ash.
year.
Yeah, Ash is never gonna win. He's never gonna win.
He got so fucking close in X and Y. There was so much hype. And then he got blown out of the water because, what was it? That's right. He lost to a Charizard.
damn Blatt.
His water
doubled
starter
down.
lost to a Mega Charizard.
They doubled down on him losing
Insult
to
to
Charizard.
injury.
Dude, and you know why they did that? Because pandering to Jen.
Fucking
Yeah, see, we just
Pisses
keep
the
coming
shit
back
out of me.
around. I feel like it's almost time to call it at this point. It's just
Dude, everything comes back to the dragon, man. Literally
the
Charizard-
dragon.
fucking this dragon that we're chasing back to Gen 1.
See, we're literally chasing the dragon,
God.
and it
So
just
what-
goes
so the-
back.
So what we're saying is the term comes from Charizard.
Got him.
Fuck
I'm
it.
so sweaty.
It's not heroin.
Disgusting.
It's fucking Charizard,
You know why we're
dude.
chasing the dragon? Because we're chasing Charizard being the dragon type.
Jesus fucking Christ, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this topic. I don't know about you guys. I'm done.
Too many people got too heated.
All right, fine. We'll. Man, we went so far off, but it's okay.
Holy shit.
It's the TNT podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, when do we ever stay on topic?
Not at all. Follow up last week was
So what do we do
What was
last?
the
Oh,
last
yeah,
one?
MMOs. We talk about MMOs.
we don't
Okay.
have any. I mean, no news or anything, and no, I don't think we have any.
I
new-
didn't start any MMOs.
Luigi still loves WoW. That's all we know.
Yeah, Luigi still loves WoW, and still haven't heard from him since the podcast last week. So whatever.
We played Overwatch. Or at least I played Overwatch.
That's true.
We played a fuck ton of Overwatch this weekend. Hell yeah.
It's
I mean,
really
that's
funny.
what you said when we were leaving for Ohio. You're like, "Bye, guys. I'm gonna play Overwatch like crazy this
And
week."
guess what? I did.
I missed out hard on that double XP.
You did.
Q&A. Did we?
We got some suggestions.
Ironically enough, we accidentally covered one of the suggestions that Tyler responded to from last week.
The EA thing? Is that what you mean?
No, some guy asked
Oh,
you talking about how
yeah.
you got into Star Wars or talk about the Pokemon anime,
Oh man. Well, that'll
which we
come up.
accidentally did.
That'll come up later, I guess. Or let me just.
Oh no, I thought it was the question with or the suggestion like what got us into like video games or like whatever we talk about in the first place. Yeah, because there was one where he was like, yeah, like, what got you guys like into video games in the first place? Like, do a topic on that. Like, that's definitely I feel like topic worthy.
Yeah. No. I'm just opening up the video just to see if there was anything good from last week.
But as usual, there wasn't like too much.
Someone asked. Kid Creator asked last week. Are you gonna play EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2? Probably not.
Me
I'm gonna be
either.
living in Ohio soon, like
Still
I
want
said.
that
Because
one.
and
EA is evil.
I would play that with friends, but I don't really think anyone's gonna be playing it. And you know what? Actually, no, I lied. I probably do a let's play of it for the single player story just to see what it's like. But I highly doubt I'll be doing multiplayer. I'll probably just play it for the single player. Because it would be fun to play a single-player Star Wars. Like, I'm kind of jonesing for a single-player Star Wars experience a little bit. But he also said in his comment, Tyler, if you ever feel like you can't keep up with Injustice, check out Comic Storian, I guess. And he reads the comic in just digestible bits that you can understand. And check out DC Rebirth. A recommendation for you?
Okay, yeah, I might. Like, I've been plowing through Injustice. Well, I'm reading that, and I'm reading the volumes that Val lent me, the Batman New 52.
Right.
Which I'm almost done with. I cleared, like, the first 2 volumes, and I just got that and, like, the Constantine
You should try to be done by tomorrow so she can give you some new ones.
Oh, does she get... Oh. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish the
she,
other 2.
I don't think she has... That's okay. I just don't think she
Yeah,
has
no,
any more.
this is all she has, she told me. At least of Batman.
In all seriousness, Kuman of Kumania. In all seriousness, will there be a Destiny 2 Let's Play? Maybe.
Maybe.
Ask these two.
You mean ask Friedman?
I didn't like Destiny 1 as much as everyone else, so I'm probably not.
I didn't play it at all.
You
but,
played it,
we
Friedman?
talked about
I didn't
it.
know you played it.
I played it when it came out, and I wasn't feeling it. So
Why?
I don't know. It just.
Okay, so I'll tell you right now. Vanilla Destiny, garbage.
I
Now,
guess that's why.
Taken King, on the other hand, that was the game. That was the game that should have been.
All right, so the real answer is we'll see. I'm not doing it alone, that's for sure. And
it depends. It really depends on my.
Depends on if we could do like the 3 of us and Luigi. If we could all do it.
I would play it if all of us were gonna play it.
If we picked like one night a week to do like a quote unquote raid night thing.
Now, but here's the thing: is Destiny gonna be 3-player co-op like it was the first game?
Well, that's what I don't know. If it's 3, then it would just be the 3
Which
of
is
us. And
dumb.
we'd do, like, a
I
podcast
always
thing.
thought 3 fucking players was stupid.
That's a weird number.
What's the
to
point
use.
of, if your gameplay doesn't encourage it with like 3 classes or something, what's the point of not just going with 4? Because so much of it has been built on 4. Or 2.
Because it's that. Because I'm pretty sure it's that. Like, they have 3
I wanna be
classes,
different.
so like they're
they
gonna
are?
make. Yeah, there are 3 classes.
Okay, that makes... then honestly, it's supported by the gameplay a little bit.
Yeah, and then when you do the raid team, it's always 6 people.
Yeah, if you're gonna have 3 classes, I can understand. I don't like it.
It's still.
But
I
I can
still think
understand
it's bullshit, though. I don't like it.
Well, we'll see what we'll see what 2 looks like.
When I don't have all my stuff that I. Nope, I'm not gonna go on because I'm gonna get triggered and it's not gonna be good.
Any chance you might bring up other from Manslender Omega? Any chance you might bring up other shady practices that go on, like EA's 1,000 microtransactions per game, and the ones that are supposed to be complete when you buy them? I don't know if there's anything else that I can think of that's like the super shady thing.
I've got a little complaint.
Okay.
So I remember when you brought up fighting games a couple weeks ago. We were talking about like games we don't have time to play, but like, so essentially a lot of these games where they come with the new definitive version, there's new characters, new balances, and suddenly it's like you now need to own the new version of the game to be where the community is. Especially when I think it was Street Fighter 4 came out. They were like, all right, Street Fighter 4 is definitive. We're not releasing a new version for at least like 2 years or so. 6 months later, Street Fighter 4 Arcade comes out, and everyone's like, oh shit, we got to play the arcade version. Then Arcade comes to console. Then they come out with Street Fighter 4 Arcade like Plus or some shit that had some new characters in it who were all the meta was balanced around. And they did that same shit with Marvel vs. Capcom 3 where Ultra Marvel came out like less than a year later. And it's not even microtransactions.
To be
it's
fair,
new full games you need because they're killing the originals.
To be fair, that's Capcom. Like, if you look at things like Killer Instinct from Microsoft, that game has been supported insanely well with seasons worth of content. Like, that game is still killing it.
Yeah. that's which is also at EVO every year too. For the past couple of years.
So I definitely feel like that's more of a Capcom thing, because also
It actually is.
It's not like NetherRealms does that with like Injustice, since that just came out, or Mortal Kombat. They don't really do that.
Yeah.
You are right. The problem is Capcom has like the death grip on the fighting game industry.
Do they though? Street Fighter 5 didn't do great, dude.
So they've been losing it, but like they've historically been the front runners.
Well, they also got the
I think
new.
they're just the most iconic, but
Yeah, I mean, well,
and
they
the
got
new
the
Marvel.
new. Yeah, they got the new one coming out soon.
Well, supposedly Marvel Infinite's going to follow a pattern more like Killer Instinct, where they just keep putting out seasons of. It's kind of like a platform, quote unquote, more than just a game.
That would explain why the first round of characters look like crap.
So one of the podcasts I listened to, they were talking about the roster, and yeah, not a huge, especially with no Wolverine.
That's bullshit. I'm not playing.
Wow. He's like a staple.
X-Men and Fox, dude.
He's like a staple, though.
But they only own like cinematic rights. They don't own video game rights to it.
Apparently, I bet you they do.
Wow.
There has to be
BS.
some.
No, yeah, no,
Wolverine
it's
is
They had him in
true.
They had him in the last MVC.
That was
They had a
before,
lot of X-Men.
That was before. That was when Marvel's
Disney
deals
Marvel.
were all over the place.
Yeah, that was before Disney Marvel.
There has to be some, like you said, Wolverine is one of the top. Like him and Captain America are the Marvel side of
Marvel vs.
these
Capcom,
games
yeah.
of Marvel vs.
Yeah.
Capcom. To not have him or any X-Men clearly indicates a licensing issue.
Yeah.
There is no other reason to not
Yeah, it's
do
honestly BS.
unless you're like waiting for, unless you're using this to pressure Fox to like relinquish a bunch of deals, a bunch of licenses, and then you have a whole DLC package where it's like, here's the X-Men roster.
That's
That might be
evil.
the way they're doing it. They're especially trying to go for this model.
I highly doubt that. Honestly, though, I don't think that such a plan is in place right now. Maybe there's a contingency on a computer somewhere at Capcom or Disney, but I don't think that's the plan now. But I bet that's a hope for somebody.
Good lord. Next question.
And then the last comment from Grand Admiral Thrawn was, Tyler, you commented on this, so I know you thought it was good. Next vid, guys can talk about, or well, now eventually because we're talking about this.
Yeah.
What got you into Star Wars, or talk about the Pokemon anime or something like that. So those are good topics for later. Probably not the Pokemon anime because there's not a ton there because I haven't rewatched it. It's more just about the impressions as a kid. But honestly, that's part of this chasing the dragon thing. That's kind of where this topic came from.
I give a really short answer if you guys want. Just to,
Okay.
Yeah, no. So like all of us started watching Pokemon anime when it first came out, like '98, just because it was really hype. But I lingered on all the way through Ruby and Sapphire just because I'd always watched on Saturday. The thing that got me to quit was when Diamond and Pearl started and they changed all the voice actors. I was like, nah, it's not for me. But I did get back in right around when X and Y was coming out. I started watching the subtitled version just because Pokemon X and Y started this new film technique where instead of doing like swooshy backgrounds, they implement this like 3D camera, so they never had to do cutaways anymore when Pokemon were using moves. So you had these large battle sequences in these 3D areas that was well matched the 2D animation. It was really cool, and I got in mostly because there was a lot of rumors that Ash was going to actually win the Pokemon League that year. Like he had a really great lineup, and there was like daily articles on the anime subreddit going like, "Why now is the time to get back into the Pokemon anime?" So I watched like the first 20 or something episodes, and then Ash lost, and I'm like, "Fuck this!" So I stopped watching. I want to go back because X and Y season's really good. But then I saw what they did with the animation for Sun and Moon. They're like, oh, let's be like One Piece and make everything look like shit. That was when I decided I'm not watching Sun and Moon.
Damn, shots
So
fired.
those are my thoughts on the Pokemon anime. 1, 2, 3 are great. Diamond and Pearl went on way too long. X and Y is pretty sweet. Don't watch Black and White; it'll give you cancer. That's what I have to say about the Pokemon
cancer's
anime.
been called.
Cancer's been called.
Cancer's been called.
Yeah, I just watched. I barely remember Ash even getting to the Pokemon League for the first time. I don't remember, and I don't even think I watched any like Gold and Silver. I watched the first movie and then I kind of saw the second movie, but I was not watching the anime regularly. Oh, excuse me, my voice just cracked. Jeez.
Yeah, I kind of fell off early too. After like the trilogy of movies came out, that's actually when I stopped like really getting into the Pokemon anime and like. As for games, I stopped early too. Like I stopped after Crystal actually.
I stopped after the Gold and Silver stuff, and then I played Emerald in high school on an emulator, and I've never played anything past that.
Never stop, never will.
Never stop, never will. See, Nintendo's gonna always rely on people like you, Friedman.
Yeah, I know. As long as I stop pandering to Gen 1, I'll always be here.
But yeah, I guess we can just do our closing stuff. Freeman, you said you had a past week and an upcoming week, or potentially so.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot done last week just because from Thursday on I was over in Atlantic City for Anime Next, my once a year anime convention, and it was a lot of fun this year. My group did cosplay from RE0 one day, and then the whole group did Full Metal Alchemist, which was a lot of fun.
We saw a handful of pictures. We saw a picture of you with a lightsaber.
Oh, I gotta post the rest of them. Oh, did the lightsaber picture went up?
I think it was a friend that tagged you, and then Val showed me a bunch of the pictures.
So we were walking the hallway, and this Kylo Ren just comes up to me, and he's not saying anything because he's got this mask on, and his buddy's got 2 lightsabers, and he just hands them. He goes, "Quick, take a picture." And they were handing them to any character who normally had a sword, and I was King Bradley from FMA in his combat uniform. So I just grabbed 2 red lightsabers, and we just start going at it. And my one buddy's like, "Look mad," and he zooms in on my face, and I got to show you this picture tomorrow, but it's the dumbest picture I've seen of myself in a while.
So honestly, you did look cool, but man, it would have been way better and way more like in group if your jacket had showed up.
I know. The problem, like, if I had
it
done
does
the
look
jacket,
good, but it does suck that happened.
I know. I kind of want to get it for next year just because from the neck up, the mustache and the eye patch looked really good. I ended up not temporarily dyeing my hair black for the role, but I might do it next time. But the real fun thing was we ran into Ed Elric at the convention, who surprisingly is from our town. She didn't go to our high school, and she's like, basically when we were seniors, she was a freshman.
Huh.
So we're not that far in age group, so we may try and schedule like a meetup or something to do like a photo shoot in a park with our whole group again.
Nice.
Cool.
Which would be pretty fun. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to do much. So this week, I'm catching up on some of the anime that I've been trying to watch in the season. I mentioned some of them earlier. But we're getting back into Persona 5.
Hell yeah, finally.
Yeah, right. I want to beat this. I'm past the halfway point in the game. I think there's 7 dungeons. I'm almost done with the 4th. So we're going places.
Yeah.
They're not great places, but we're going there.
Me? Well, this past week I did nothing. I worked over the weekend, and another player character died in my other campaign that I'm in. So things
you guys
are
headed
bleak.
for what in the original Fable is the final showdown tomorw in our D&D game.
Oh yeah, man.
I don't want it to end.
It's not going to end. You guys have the Lost Chapters content.
Yeah, we still got DLC that we got to do. So, and I'm sure someone's gonna die tomorrow, probably. Guts is probably.
You don't know
die.
how many times on the trip, especially when they were drunk, Val told Leslie she was planning on diving in front of you, her character or Freeman's character.
I refuse to let this happen.
See, but that's the thing. Guts wouldn't like.
But you don't understand how depressed Val was while they were drunk.
Jesus Christ!
Because one night they both had just like a Smirnoff each, but then the last night we were there,
they got fucking turned, dude.
They both cracked open the bottle of Bacardi that they had brought.
They cracked open the cold one with the girls.
Cracked open the cold one with the girls.
And they got about 3/4 the way through the bottle together on top of like a Smirnoff each. So
were they playing Oregon Trail or something?
Yes.
We were playing
in the group chat.
Yes, that's why I told you guys to turn off, because the 3 of us played a game of Commander that didn't end because Val removed my win. I was playing Brea, Leslie was playing Marchesa, and Val was playing Olero. Val had like 10,000 life, but me and her kept wiping the board because Leslie kept playing big scary things, and Leslie was just getting pissed off. So I was like, this game's just over because...
It sounds like it's a typical game with us.
This sounds like a very standard EDH
But it also
game
didn't help that they were both drinking and getting deeper in. So then we just switched to Oregon Trail, and the whole time The Office is on in the background. And then it ended up just being, let's just hang out and talk and watch The Office. But Val at that point was like rolling around on the bed and crawling under the table we were using, and just they were in pretty deep. It was funny.
Good lord.
But yeah, that's why Val started posting in the chat about how beautiful Leslie was.
What else? What else I got
that's
going?
What happens when they get drunk.
I'm trying to remember what else I got going. I don't know, like playing both of those games and like that's about it. I got nothing going on this week. As usual.
Well, I have a move to Ohio to do in 3 days. I have 3 more full days here in New Jersey, and then I am off to the apartment in Ohio that we signed our lease on for way too much money yesterday. No, in the grand scheme of things, not too much money, but in the grand scheme of my bank account balance, significant amount of my personal life money, my amount of finances.
Yeah, that's what happens.
You guys gonna be able to afford this?
We can afford the rent. It's just I'm gonna have like no savings after this.
Okay.
Like I have enough income, and Val's already looking for jobs, but
I believe. I have faith in you guys.
yeah.
You guys will be okay.
No, we'll be okay. Like I can cover everything, so it's just a question of how much can Val earn to make things easier on us.
Right.
Like she'll probably handle buying food and things like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to record at least 2 or 3. I already recorded one thing today. I'm going to try to get 2 or even 3 more things done and rendered so that I can upload them over the next week. Because I have before I left for this past weekend, I uploaded up to tomorrow, which means I need, until I get internet back, I need about a week and a half worth of stuff. So I need about 3 more things recorded, and then I should be good until I get internet again out there. And that's why we're also going to do the podcast. So it's basically going to be recording those things, Ground Control, Dragon Age, and Alan Wake, recording the other podcast with Friedman, and then just packing stuff. So I'm not really going to have time to play anything. And then when I'm out there, I'm probably just going to record more offline.
And then just post it when you get the chance.
Yeah, and then just post it, render it all out, and then as soon as I get internet back, just start flooding it, upload. So it'll be nice, and I'm going to be alone for a week, so I'll probably be Skyping back on my phone and stuff like that.
Wait, Val's waiting to move out there?
She's not coming out for a week because her sister's graduating. The high school graduation's next week.
Oh,
yeah,
her
sister, so.
All right, makes sense.
But anyway, that's where I'm going to be. So I'll probably do a vlog because I already did one last week, but I'll just do an official one. So
Life stuff.
Yep. But
Man, life is strange.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
Oh my god. So check back next week for me and Freeman talking at the end of this week about the 25th anniversary announcements, because there are tons already.
Oh, it's going to be great.
And
I'm
hopefully
so
there's
excited.
supposed to be at least a few more over the next 2 days. Not as explosive, but there's going to be plenty to talk about.
There's going to be more elaboration, more stuff for us to actually go into detail on.
Exactly. And then the week after that, we'll finally be back with a new topic and new recording from my new apartment, from my office that me and Val are going to have in our apartment, because we do have the second bedroom and there is enough room for a desk in there, or 2. It's a very nice apartment. If you guys saw the videos that she sent on Facebook to everybody. Although, didn't they cut off after like 5 seconds?
Cut off
Yeah, we
after
only saw
like
the
5
first 3 seconds of the
I don't
video.
know why. She's got a. We'll figure something. We'll show you guys the videos tomorrow, so you guys can see what it looks like, and then someday you guys will all drive out there and see it. But
Damn.
anyway,
It'll happen.
we're gonna end the TNT podcast for now, everybody. Thank you very much for listening.
Yep. See ya
See
when I
you
see
next time.
Yeah, we will see you guys. We will catch you guys later. So bye for now, everyone.